I'm having one of those days that nothing works. Right. G'day, good evening, good night, good morning. I can't remember the order anymore. I am totally mixed up. I feel like Algared looks. Algared's not had a good night's sleep. How you doing, mate?
I didn't have a good night's sleep, that's true. But miracles happen.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
It's 5 p.m. or 5 a.m., sorry. Yeah. And we're starting.
Yeah, on time for us.
We're starting on time. When has that ever happened?
Not for a long time.
I cannot remember a time we've actually managed to start on time.
Well, earlier than usual, yeah. So yeah, that's good to see. Hello to people in chat. I do have to fix that, Algared, actually.
Yeah.
The chat thing. Hang on, let me fix that real quick.
Yeah, I can't see the Twitch chat, but
yeah.
I do have my YouTube up, so I can see that. So.
All right, I will fix that for you right now.
That's
right.
Okay.
So, what's on the cards for today, Algared? I think it's pretty much just questions. Yeah, there's nothing really.
Well, there's no ISC, so we ain't doing that. We do have a countdown. We can see there are basically 2 more sleeps to Citizencon. Well, effectively 1 more sleep because for us it's basically a midnight start tomorrow.
So, well, I'm starting 3 hours early for tomorrow. So it'll actually be a 3 a.m. kickoff, but I'm gonna start 3 hours early. I haven't kind of decided what I'm gonna do. So I was originally planning to do a Star Jump Grim because you obviously have to teach and you've got a job to go to and stuff like that. And Grim got called up for jury duty, so that's a little bit up in the air at the moment. And I've gone around to see if there's anyone else that's free, but there's not really any that are free. So I can kind of joint stream with some other people, but I'll figure it out between now and then in a couple of days' time. I also added the little timer, obviously.
Yep, the climber. Damn it. Well, I was always going to be free for the first day because it was the Sunday, but that second day where I'm working, that kind of
Yeah. But do you really want to start at midnight with me and go through to? You can if you want.
I do not know yet.
Yeah.
We'll find out when either I'm a grumpy old man,
or you can get up at 3 a.m. whatever you want,
or a very sleepy old man.
Yeah.
Or whether I'm just an old man who can't sleep. So
yeah,
you're having a bad influence on me. These weird times are screwing up my sleep pattern.
I told you, Algared, I had to flip it all for this. So over the last week, I've been flipping it. So I normally go to bed, say about midnight, and then wake up, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And right now I'm going to bed at 1 p.m. and waking up at like 9 at night.
Yep.
So I've been up since 9 p.m. and it's now currently 5 a.m. So
and since daylight savings, I've had to be flipping my sleep patterns like at this time.
So yeah.
So, and then I get people call me at strange hours of the night when I've just logged off.
And that was that was probably one of the reasons why they'll never have Citizencon down here again, was when they had the PAX down here. The time would have been really bad for people in the UK and Europe and America because like they're pretty close over there. They're only, you can do an afternoon in one and it's an evening in the other, so it kind of transfers across. But we always get shafted, no matter when it is. Like it's terrible for us. It's either 3 a.m. like this, which is usually when all the AI events are on because they're kind of linked to the USA, and then when they do it in Britain, I think it was a 6, 7 a.m. start. It was could be wrong there, but yeah, it was pretty early as well.
Like when Paul, Jail, and I have done the Lord Citizen podcast. For me, it's like it might be like 9 a.m. in the morning. For Paul, it's like 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. at night, and for Jail, it's like 11 p.m. at night.
And it's exactly the same thing as when we do Inforunners episodes.
Yeah,
it's identical to that.
If you ever get a
No, finished.
If we ever get a channel where we got multiple time zones, it's that someone somewhere of that group is getting absolutely shafted.
One that I can remember is always when we do the Command and Controls episodes, because that's SA in the States, Badges in Britain, and myself in Australia. And I deliberately always take the bad time because it just makes it easier for those two. So yeah. And I'll be up at like 4 a.m. or something like that doing that. So yeah. Right, the bot is up. It's taking your questions. We are on the road to CitizenCon. I want to hear some stuff about the speculation about what you see at CitizenCon, what you expect to see at CitizenCon. Straight off the bat, I want to know if you think we're going to see a demo. If CitizenCon is next year is meant to be the release of Squadron 42, which is what me and Algared are hearing, and what a few other people are hearing and talking about, and all the patches with the polishing and all that type of stuff. What do they need to do to prepare it for Citizencon next year? And I think if that is what we are seeing, we need a demo to literally shove in our friend's face and say, look at this, it's amazing, and that's how you'll pull people in for the release of that game. If they're relying on us for the, what do you call it, the voice, what do they call that, Algared? Voice of the, not the voice of the people, but word of mouth. If they're relying on word of mouth, they need something for us to speak about.
You're clearly showing referendum fatigue there.
No, I didn't even watch it on none of the we had a referendum here in Australia. It was a landslide apparently too. Absolutely landslide. Against
the government's preferred choice.
Yes. But it is what it is. They usually fail here in Australia. They and it cost a lot of money. It was almost like $340 million.
$450.
Yeah, what a waste of money. That's all I can say. Like, it was really obvious going to fail. Anyway.
Yeah, and
let's not talk about politics. But yeah,
because we do have a couple of questions, so we may as well start. We've got 4 questions at the moment, which is great. I'm going to be able to go to bed in 30 minutes. Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's being generous.
Yeah.
All right. So first
off.
Question. Weepy Sleeper. How do you guys get to be so devilishly striking?
Lack of sleep. I think we just covered that, didn't we, Algared?
Yep. Lack of sleep.
It's all the alcohol that just
good coffee.
A good tea for me in my case. So yeah.
I did get a delivery this week. Yesterday, I'm waiting to finish off the last of the coffee I've got. Geisha's back in town, baby.
You got to save some for next time when I come up. I do want to just try that one time.
Man,
just save me the tiniest amount, just enough for 1 cup.
You got to remember, coffee doesn't. No, coffee's not one of these.
Oh, it goes off, does it?
It goes off.
Oh shit! Damn. Okay.
So,
can you send me a small bit down? Would that be possible? You're asking a lot. He's like, yeah, you're fucking asking a lot. Like that's a lot.
You're asking a lot, mate.
That shows you how much he likes his coffee. He won't even give me one cuppa. What the? No, that's fine. I understand. I understand how much you like that. We've talked about it at length. He's a real coffee connoisseur, especially the geisha. He's a big fan.
I know when we were playing Witcher, and you started saying, "Oh, he talks about this coffee."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh yeah, geisha." And yeah, geisha.
yeah. Because Daily Noob was there as well at the time, and he even creeped up about it. So he tried it before too. So I've never tried it. So I'm like, okay, this sounds life-changing. Let's try this thing. But he didn't have any at the time, so I missed it.
No, because it is seasonal. Being able to get it depends on when you can get it. But coffee tends to go, it loses its flavour. So after it's roasted, you've generally got, they usually say 2 to 3 weeks after it's roasted, and after that it starts to lose its flavour. If it's left out in the open, it loses, it becomes stale, and so you won't get the creme on top. So,
I remember you telling me about people like using it with milk and stuff, and you'd almost slap them in the face the way you described it because it was like blasphemy. Anyway, all right, we've gone way off topic here. Next question.
Okay, next question is from. Let me just scroll up because it's
Jock Cop.
The questions came in thick and fast there, and that meant they all scrolled up. So. Jock Cop says, morning. Do you think the Cutter Scout could be the cutter for the Reclaimer? Seems like it might fit. Large scanner for finding wrecks, hole for bringing the cargo, and component back.
So
no, we don't.
I do want to show you something, Algared, because we were talking about this while I've been sitting around and waiting. So let me open up this in the browser, and we'll flick over to the browser.
So depending on what Execute shows me, initially we were thinking no because the Scout.
It's still a no for the Scout, right? Yep. But someone brought up something really interesting about the Expedition. So we think it's the Expedition, but Algared, this totally changed this perception for me, right? So what you and I have been thinking is this turret is, notice how it's kind of flat and it doesn't really actually kind of look like a turret, a standard turret. We thought it might be a remote turret, right? So we were like, okay, yeah. But I'm actually, what someone proposed, and once I've seen this, I kind of can't unseen it because it sounds so damn cool, is these aren't roll cages, right? These are tracks. right? And so this thing slides down and comes over the canopy and gives you little grabby arms, like the rover, you know, in the movie Titanic, where the rover flips over the painting and they find the safe. It does that. And then someone else said, you know what I was saying up there about how it looks like you can put things onto the roof rack and it looks like it's a kind of ramp thing. They were suggesting, what if it was 3 separate toolboxes and those arms can reach back and change the head on the arms?
Interesting.
And I was like, whoa, that's like super tinfoil hat. But they're actually proposing that this ship is essentially a multi-tool of ships.
Okay, could be a big brother of an MPUV.
Because it allows you to cut things, track the beam things, and move things around with 3 separate heads. And I was just like, that could be possible, but I wouldn't rule anything out. I don't know, but to answer the question of the person that was saying about the Scout is 100%. So I do have a picture of the Scout here. Hang on, let me pull that up. Let's talk about that real quick, because to answer his question instead of like just going, no, you're wrong. So what we believe this to be, and I can show this very, very quickly on HangerLink as well. To the people that are...
Hang on, I can pull up all 3 if we've got them.
Well, we don't have the new ones, but I'm showing them the theory. And this is what I was talking about to the guys that are still on the Discord. I was hanging out with some guys for about 3 or 4 hours today in Discord, and we were talking about many, 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 many things.
As we usually do.
Yes. So we had the rock, and the other one I want to put in there is the mule. So what we believe this is essentially the infancy of, and we're talking about the Cutter Scout that's in game, is the infancy of mining and possibly salvage gameplay. And I'll explain that really quickly, right? So one of the things that you'll know is, if you've gone and looked at the Cutter Scout that was in game, is the cargo bay is bigger, and just big enough that we know that in the cargo variant you can put the mule, right? So again, taking the standard mule, putting it right next to the cutter, and the rock, you can see. I got to line everything up perfect here. It's really hard to do.
But you can see that a rock would, if a mole fits, the rock will certainly fit,
because they've extended by just enough that this arm now fits in, right? And so essentially, let's just ignore the salvage part of it that we're talking about. Just the mining part. You put a rock in the back. It's got scanners. You send it out with and I was talking to John. John is really good at mining, and he actually suggested that it would be 2 prospectors and one of these, and basically it would be scanning for the prospectors, finding the next rocks. But you could also do it with a mole as well. And then while they're mining, if it's already found another rock for them to go to, it could start looking for, because you always find the hand nodes or the vehicle nodes. This lands, pushes the vehicle out, pick some of those up, because they don't pick them up. There's nothing else really to pick them up. That gives it this a double function. It's mining and scanning with a preference towards scanning, but it also allows you to pick up the little rock nodes that you found.
And it becomes also just a single person first step miner, because you can take out your rock and you can do the gem mining. So.
And we also believe that lines up with what was happening with the Nomad around that time, because the people were jerry-rigging the Nomad, and they've clearly seen that, just like they saw people using the Pisces and they invented the C8R to make bunker runs better. They've seen people with the Nomad going, oh, look, they're jerry-rigging the rock onto the back of the Nomad. Here's a ship designed just to do that.
Yep.
How Scout.
So, but no, I don't think there's an issue with that. It's just full on. But yeah, so we don't think the Cutter Scout is in. We actually think the other one. But with the Scout, the idea of those roll bars, I actually thought they were roll bars when we first saw it, when we first talked about it. And I even made the suggestion that was so that the idea of the tractor beams could be pulled down and do stuff.
Well, it also kind of lines up with the deploy screen, because you know how you deploy them and it covers the screen here? That now covers the front window, and I've just realized that's what it's all for. So the other variants still have the deploy screen, but what did they do on them? Nothing.
It's armor.
So if you actually think about it, if this moves down and covers the front screen, it means every window is covered. I think you've cracked it, dude. Just the person, I forgot the person's name, but someone else came up with this, not me. But now I bring the deploy screens into it. It just adds so much more to what he said. that this comes down and covers the front screen, because that means all the windows are covered. That's crazy. I think he's cracked it, at least to some effect. I think that's what that is. It comes down the front. It makes so much sense. Why would you have a deploy cover and not have something cover the front? And I think he's cracked it. Well, that's how speculation works, people.
Well, the idea of the deploy cover was to give extra armor. That's always been the idea of the cutter. It's the most armored Drake ship of all time. It's the, as I've often said, it's the most undrake Drake ship.
Yeah. Well, we have it with the speculation we've had before. I was just going over that with him, and he was just a new person in there, never heard it before, and then he started floating. Like, I was triggering things in his head, much like you know how speculation works with us. It just triggers an idea, and he said, "What if that's not a turret? What if it's a track?" And then I just started to see things. Now with the last piece of that information is those covers, the deployable covers. I think he's got it. I think he smashed it wide open. That's not a tractor beam turret. It is a shield. It is a window cover. Wow. Okay. So stuff. Anyway, that is all speculation. Take that all with a grain of salt as usual. But hey, man,
one day, 22 hours, and all will be revealed.
Well, this will be AIE at the earliest. This one, the Scudder Cow, the Scudder Cow. Let's say the Scudder Scout. The Cutter Scout, though, I don't think you'll have to wait for that one. I think that is very close. Like, if it's not that, I'll be really, really surprised. You know, everything I saw in game. The other thing you'll notice is, like, if you look at the original variant, it has a very large,
it's got bigger
engines. This one appears to have 2, and I think the Expedition appears to have 1. But basically, it's a downsizing in engines because you don't need that thrust. The other thing we found, Algared, is if you actually look at this engine, it is exactly the same as the one that appears on the Vulture. And I mean exactly. It's just connected at a different spot. Even the texture's the same and shit like that. So it's crazy. And this is identical to the one on this connection is the same as the one on the Corsair. So they're actually taking assets literally off them and just scaling them to different sizes, which is crazy to me.
Nothing that we didn't expect them to do, and nothing we haven't heard them say they actually want to do. You know, you don't just want to ever make one asset or one piece of tech for. You want to reuse stuff where you can, where it makes sense, so that.
Well, it shows credence what we've been saying about speeding up the process of making the larger ships. If they're already doing it at this scale, they're definitely going to be doing it up there, aren't they?
You can bet your bottom dollar they're doing it with everything else.
I think the last thing I'll say about this, obviously, besides the things you can see, is the one thing that most people might not have noticed is the extra fuel dunk, like on the DUR and on the 100 series. So it's got fuel scoops. So if I was going to guess which one's the long range variant, it's this one. This one's designed to be traveling a lot because it's scanning, obviously, where the Expedition, I think, is the short range version. It is not designed for that because it's obviously pulling components out of the ships to feed into the Reclaimer. So yeah, different ships for different jobs, and the cargo probably falls right in the middle, but it's obviously got the biggest thrusters because it's going to carry the largest weight.
And the difference with this over the others, from what we can gather, is that you've got your scanning station in the back, and you've got reduced cargo.
Actually, Algared, when I looked at the cargo, it's down to 2 SCU. There's only one possible space where the cargo can go, and I'm not even sure it is a cargo anymore. I think it's just a vehicle. I don't think Yeah,
well, as you said, you know, it's got that kind of space big enough for a vehicle, but it doesn't have any dedicated cargo grid from what we can gather. Now, we could be wrong, but it does seem to have the least cargo of all the cutters.
But it's also got the
extended range, and it's got the sensors.
It's got the biggest cargo bay, but it doesn't carry cargo, which we also think leads credence towards vehicles. And someone that was in the military mentioned that in the image, he goes, see those grates? Because it's got these grates where the vehicle tires would go. He goes, that's for what we would use on aeroplanes and other vehicles to tie another vehicle down to the floor. So even that leads credence to the whole vehicle thing.
And I got to admit, like, tying a vehicle down would be the type of thing you would expect Drake to do rather than using magnetic clamps.
Absolutely.
To me, it just makes sense, you know. So
no, I'd agree with that. And we know they're bringing rope tech in, so maybe one day you actually can
tie the things down.
Tie the stuff down, which would be interesting.
You know, I could even see, you know, people who are going on dangerous runs, even though they've got magnetic clamps, if they've got an ability to tie things down, maybe tying the cargo down as well for that extra protection and to stop things going. But for that's future dreaming of things that could possibly happen because of rope tech and stuff.
There was a really good video by Avenger One this week. Our mate, he's got footage. I don't know if he's released the video yet, but I saw it on his stream. He had a Fury versus the Lightning, and he smashed it. Like it just shows you how every ship has its place. So if you can, like the F8 Lightning, the thing I've learned about it is it's not a jeweler. It is a mass fighter. Like every little ship is going to have their place in a massive fight, right? It's that whole rock paper scissors mechanic. So if it can see it, it can kill it. But as soon as you put it against a Hurricane or a Hornet or an Arrow, and it's 1-on-1, they will win, right? But because it's got the armor and that, it might take out a whole bunch of ships in a massive fight because they've got different priorities. So it's gonna be very interesting to see like I'm really interested to jump in the game the first time that ever happens, and everyone's got something different, and it's just like and fight, bang, and it's like 20 versus 20, and there's just this huge chaos. It'd be really interesting to see how it all plays out. Yeah.
And if I understand the lore of the ships, you've got to remember that when you're looking at the Hornet and that you're looking at the development of fighters to be fighting against the Vanduul. So you start off with the Blade. The Blade is killing off the first, the civilian ships. So the Gladius comes along. The Gladius owns the Blade. Vulture comes along. The Scythe comes along. Scythe smashes the Gladiator. Gladius, sorry, not the Gladiator, but Gladius. Oh, we'll bring in a Hornet. Hornet smashes the Scythe. Oh, yeah. Then we get the Glaive. The Glaive smashes the and then going up, and then eventually the last one is that the F8 comes out. So
just to clarify what I said before, North End Trooper let us know that the video is out on Avenger One's channel, so you can go see that. And then Grim followed it up with it's still in. So I think let me reword this. Right now, the Lightning is balanced, right? But there is what Grim's alluding to is there's a lot more things to come in the future, and so again, everything will get rebalanced again. I think that'll cover what you were trying to say, Grim, without putting words in your mouth. But I agree with you. If that is what
but we've always said, what's the thing we often say about things? Don't look at what they can do now, because we don't have things like armor. Everything's going to get rebalanced. Everything will get redone.
Well, all those ships you mentioned before, you chuck armor in them, and half of those all go different ways, don't they? So yeah.
And all of those ships. But when you're looking at the development of the game and the idea behind it, though, Blade, Gladius, Hornet, Scythe, Hornet, going up the line of UEE ships versus Vanduul ships. And the F8 is the end of that line of fighter development of the UEE, and we don't know what the end of the line is for the Vanduul yet. So I think the next one they went to, if I remember correctly, and I could have this wrong because it's been so long, I think the next one they had after the Glaive was the Void Bomber. So you saw the development shifting, but yeah.
I'd hope maybe it says, can we actually do see some updated Vanduul ships? That'd be kind of cool, to be honest with you, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, next question from Weepy Sleeper. He says, how long do you think until we'll see starting up on the Orion? I've got a pledge and a lot of hype. Algared, I'll let you take that one.
When they're ready. And I don't care how long it takes. And I'm sorry, join the queue.
I would say it will probably come before some other professions because it is just larger rocks, but there's obviously some tech in there for, once rocks get to a certain size, they have to break up in a different way. So there's definitely some other tech in there. But again, being RSI and other RSI ships on the count, you probably think maybe around there, Algared?
It's a possibility. We might see them doing work on it, but I don't expect it soon, to be honest.
Yeah.
With the tech they've been working on, we saw the tech where they were working on the breaking down of ships for munching.
Yep.
That was going to be, and I can see that being almost exactly the same tech they'll use for the asteroids.
Yep, I would agree with that. You could multi-use that, absolutely. And we know they like to cross-pollinate things, don't we? So yeah. Yep.
And so that gives that aspect. The fact that the Orion doesn't have a claw like the Reclaimer, and it's just using tractor beams, I could see that probably. You could almost see that being implemented before they actually get the claw working.
You could even see it reversing into repair. You could even see it possibly going into how ships explode, even potentially. You know, down the line.
So, but when is it coming? I can't tell you. I'm always happy for ships to be later in the progress, because as we see with ships, that the later they are, the better they are. Yeah. So I'm always happy for a ship to be late.
Yep.
I love them being early.
Well,
I'm happy for them
by
to be
the
late.
same token, they will go back and they'll bring everything up to snuff eventually. Like, and that's something that me and Algared kind of mentioned in our review of the Lightning, is there is no component areas on that ship.
Yep.
That ship was finished 5 years ago and has just sat there. And they've probably come back to it and gone, right, we need to make a bunch of skins. And if you know how Data Forge work, they probably pop that out in less than a day. I'm not even kidding. I reckon I could have done that in a couple of hours. I don't know Data Forge, but I know Photoshop, and I know I could have done it in Photoshop in a couple of hours. So basically, you know, they pop those out, and, you know, we are off to the races, because there's no new tech in there. Like, there's none of those. You've only got to go look at the. I don't know, I'm trying to think of one that was. What's the last one before that, Algared? Like a fighter that we've had. The cutter's got components on it. I'm trying to, but there's none of them that have got it.
Was the last fighter that came out.
Yep, that had components covered all over it. You know, you also have you know, different animations and a whole bunch of stuff. But you know, you can't pull any components off that. Like, there's no way to open the doors or anything like that. So it just, you can tell it's older. You can tell.
Well,
like, I still don't quite understand why they sold it. Like, it's like it wasn't ready to sell. It's like they just went, we need something, bang, push it out.
It was ready to sell in terms of the fact that it's flight ready.
5 years ago it was.
You know, it's flight ready, and it's got the weapons, and you can fly it and all the rest of it. It works. You can put it in game. It can function in game for what it is. You know, you don't need a fighter. Doesn't need you to be able to pull out the components to. If you can swap the components out by the mobiGlas, you can. The ship's valid. It's working. I
think so. Grim, I think that actually is on the schedule for Citizencon. That they are talking about the ship pipeline and the effect lore has on the ship design, which I think is ironically funny, because there was someone telling me, and I can't remember who they were, they're going, lore would never affect ship design, and then literally like 3 days later the schedule goes up and goes, how lore affects ship pipeline.
Yeah, I think that person needs to go and watch any of the lore videos that Paul, Jail, and I have done, or any of Paul's views and looks at the long history of the ships, because I'm sorry, lore does impact ship design.
Yeah.
And probably has a bigger impact than 90% of the audience think. And, you know, lore, not only does it enhance your ability to understand what's going on, but also gives you a better appreciation of a ship. And that's why I get so peeved off, so annoyed when they bring out something that absolutely and utterly bastardizes the lore. Or just doesn't seem to make sense with the law.
We've seen that a few times now, haven't we?
Yep. And then you see, you know, it almost at times looks like backpedaling in terms of to make the law now fit to that design. But, and thank you for that raid, Space. Also, love to have you raid us like that.
Was that Space Tomato, was it? Sorry, I don't have the shadow. Oh, he's going to join us. Space camera 1. Space, when you want to join us, go nuts. Just jump into Discord when you're ready, man. We've got it all hooked up for you. Right. So, thank you for the raid. That's going to be awesome. Right. I'm trying to find this post, right? So I'm trying to find this post on... I'm going to switch it over so people can see. So I was having an argument on stream with Pissed Off Pete, and he posted the question that we want the answer to in here, and be stuffed if I can find it now, because it's been like... This will say 2 days ago, but it was literally just yesterday. Don't tell me they've deleted it on him. He was worried about getting banned, because apparently every time he goes to Spectrum, he gets banned. Oh, here we go. Question about skin exclusivity. Here we go. This is the question that we want answered, guys. So, I don't know if I can I share this? Yeah, well, here we go. Quote, reply, discussion. There must be a share button here somewhere. Shit. I can't remember where it is. Someone will remind me, but actually I could probably just copy paste this, yeah? So I'll put this in the chat for people. We basically want an answer to this, because it's been an ongoing debate between Paul and I, and it's also been an ongoing debate with Algared and a few of the other Inforunners, because we all believe in different things. I've just posted it in YouTube twice, stupidly, right?
I did.
My bad. Sorry.
I'm sorry,
Anyway,
YouTube.
so yeah, what we're essentially asking here, right? So this argument's been going on for ages, right? Back in the beginning, what they said was there will be no exclusives. And as earlier this year, Tyler said when we were given the Banu Cube at a virtual Citizencon, this is the first ever in-game exclusive item. But he also said it doesn't matter because eventually there'll be a real Banu Cube in game, right? So this is just a facsimile or a replica is the word he used, right? So that implied that everything that had ever come before that would somehow, and me and Algared have always believed this, haven't we, Algared, is that everything will eventually be earnable in game because that's what they've said. But there are people that adamantly believe they will never, say, for example, sell best in show skins in game. And I would give examples to Paul, because Paul disagrees with me, and that's his right. And say, well, what if they had an event when AIE was on where you could do certain quest lines or missions to earn said best in show skins, or maybe one of them, so you got to go out in your reclaimer and eventually you could earn that white and pink skin in your reclaimer. And I think that's totally valid, but they want it to stay exclusive now. And yes, it does. And the argument with Pissed Off Pete started with the Stormfire skin or the platinum version of the F8C Lightning. And I was like, well, I think you'll be able to earn a game eventually. And he disagreed, and we talked about this for about 3 hours. And eventually we went, well, we'll agree to disagree. But I said, isn't that annoying how we can't actually get a response on this? And that's when he suggested this. And we went on live on his stream and we kind of wrote out the question together and he posted it. And I would love to see an answer. So that's why I'm talking about it today.
I think, even if CIG do not sell the skins, you fly out in your ship with a 2016 or 2018, best in show ship skin, and your ship gets destroyed, I wouldn't be surprised, or it gets stolen, that could be stripped off. But it could be, So, are they going to be available in game? Yeah, everything's going to be available in game one way or another. But yeah, like and I've always thought things would be, everything, even the exclusive things like Millie Mile High Club. While I always hope that Millie Mile High Club itself, like the name, wouldn't be out there, and that would be reserved for those people who had invested in the game and backed the game early on, and that was one of the bigger rewards they were getting for back in the game when it was not guaranteed.
So I think whether you agree or disagree, right, that's irrelevant, right? I think that what we need to come together here as a community is let's get this upvoted and hopefully they actually answer it, and then we can for one of the reasons me and Algared have said this is because it goes against the black market, right? It goes against the grey market. Why would you go out there and buy said rare skin for X amount of dollars when in your head you can just tell yourself, I can eventually get this, right? And that's the positive me and Algared want to take away from it, where there are the other side of the fence is obviously if you bought said skin off the black market, or you happen to have earned it in game, or if you were lucky enough to get a platinum in the last week, you lose that. But the other side of it is if you did get a platinum this week, you've got a platinum for let's say the next 3, 4, 5, 6, however many years it takes them to actually get it in game. And once they get it in game, then everyone can have it. So what you essentially got was, well, 1, you got a free ship. 2, you actually got a rare skin, but that rare skin, you've got access to that before the game lives. And I think things like the Night Runner skin and things like that, that's why they're never going to sell them again, because what they gave you was timed exclusivity.
And I think the other thing is that if it's in your actual account hanger and you've got the item there as ship with LTI with that item, even if you do lose that ship and lose that skin, you've actually still got that skin. It's one of those things you can't lose. Whereas if you buy the skins in game,
that's something Pete brought up. He goes, the only way you're going to be able to get them in game is to steal them off other people.
Yep.
So maybe.
I think that's certainly a possibility. Even if they don't sell them, you're going to be able to get them in game by stealing them or doing other stuff. But the advantage is for those people who actually have bought these chips and stuff on their accounts, they're not going to lose them. Whereas if you buy them or steal them in game, you can lose them. And I think that's the balance.
So Grimm's just said the communication on some of these events is very poor. Definitely will upvote this. So yeah, I agree with him. It's a communication issue. but there's some communication, and I don't know. I haven't really sat down and speculated on this one. I don't know. Maybe we can do that. Maybe chat. You guys can do this and get back to us. But is it a good thing for CIG to have left it like it is, or is it better if they tied it up, right? Because my brain goes to, well, if it's random and people are FOMO buying, that's better for CIG. That's where my stance lands on that, and I think that's why they've never they haven't clarified it in such a long time. But yeah.
With the skins, it comes back to the original idea that they once put out, was the idea that they put out the paint kit, so you could actually create your own skins. And
that's still a thing.
I can remember
the paints we got right now, right? So as in the ones you buy in the store, they are just to help fund the game at the moment. And they will eventually be all earnable in game. You can, and I think that tits the hat a little bit to what me and Algared are saying is flare items. When you go to that page where the flare items are, it literally says everything will be earnable in game. There's a panel of the characters with the Zeus suits, isn't it, Algared? And they literally say all available in. Oh man, I'm going to go find it.
Yeah, they'll eventually. Yep, and they talk about things eventually being in game. But they originally talked about creating a paint toolkit so that you could actually create your own paints. And I vaguely remember even Chris saying, and that would enable people to basically earn credits or stuff from their work.
Absolutely, I remember that. Yep. I remember that as well.
I can't remember if it was actually earn money or actually earn just.
But people could pay. But people could pay you for your design, is what I remember.
But people could pay you for your design, and so that was the idea. And so I think part of that whole skin exclusivity aspect is coming in with that.
Here we go, Algared, just to add evidence to. You can obviously see what I'm doing. They can't. But yeah, right there. This is the latest sub flares, and every time they drop one of these sub flares, earnable in game. The goal is to make items earnable in game. For this reason, many subscriber flare items have been added to the game in loot table as rare drops from 317. Most pre-23,000 items can't be carried. So that basically means at the end of this year, everything that came out will be added to the loot table, right? Note, some exclusive digital event items, such as those from Citizencon goodie packs, will not be discoverable via the in-game loot system. And that note right there is the one where everyone goes, and that's why you won't be able to get best in show skins, blah, 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 ever in game. They've never said that. They've actually said everything will eventually earn them in game. And I would even go as far as to say eventually those items will also eventually be available in game too. You'll go to Citizencon and there might be a vintage dealer that sells a lot of the older stuff. Or again, like I said, a quest line that allows you to add, you can make up how they're going to put it in game, right? I'm not saying exactly how they're going to be in game, but eventually they'll be in game, right? Or a way to earn them, or potentially even purchase them in game, even potentially a way to purchase them outside of game. That's
I could even see Esperia putting out ships and saying, Retro, the 2014 Reclaimer, best in show ship.
Algared, they could go as simple as, like they said in that loot table, you can't actually buy them from a store. You actually have to find one in game, like it's in a box. Or what if it's a crashed ship that had a best in show skin on it, and you actually recover the ship and it comes with the skin, so you earn the skin.
And space, camera one.
Camera one space.
If you go to camera one on Ninja, you'll appear.
Oh, he's in Discord.
Hi, Space. He is.
Right,
hi,
cool.
Space. How you going?
All right, I'm going to flip these around so you're in the middle so we can get his ugly mug going. Right, bear with me. Algared's going to go double here for a second.
Ooh.
And he's gone. But Space will pop up there when he gets his shit together. Right. He's obviously...
Next question.
Right, go for it. Yeah, I'll flick us back.
Yep. So Dell has a question. Dell says, which manufacturer do you think the medium-large salvage ship will be from?
Medium salvage. Well, it's funny. Actually, I think about back to the one I did with Space, where we had that image. I've got to get that image. You know the one with the where they had the cross thing and they had the
Yep.
I just called it. I called it a graph or something like that. I can't remember what I called it. A chart or a graph. I'm just searching for it through my own.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, I didn't call it graph. Let's call it chart. Nope. God, I don't even know where I saved it now.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. The quadrants with the
Let's see if I can find
the engineering, the salvage, the luxury, and then mapping them out as to where they are.
So if I drop that into browser, we can probably. There we go. Did that cut over? Yes, it did. Right. So, Yeah, basically, you can kind of see there what you were talking about
I'll
repairing.
just move to the side, just so you
Well,
can
this
see
is
the
this is the weird thing, right? Because if you look up to Anvil and Aegis, they are very clearly military industrial, but that's why you see repair, and you see you also see salvage. But right down the other side, you've got commercial. So literally everything on that right hand side that is connected to industrial, that's a potential manufacturer. And that doesn't include other manufacturers that can come in from other places. Like, for example, Banu's not on there at all, right? And the other thing that me and Algared haven't talked about in depth, but could there possibly be a high design industrial? I don't think so, by the way. But that you know, that's something someone else brought up. And does that mean you can see a commercial military? And I don't think you can. But so to answer your question, long story short, it's something on the right hand side of that graph. So you've got Attack, Drake, Argo, Aegis, RSI, and Anvil, and they all fall into that. So,
and another one that fits in with the industrial side is Grey Cat.
Yep, that'd be over there too.
Yeah.
Where would Kruger be, Algared? That'd be military, yeah, surely.
Kruger is industry.
Not military at all. So almost up near RSI. You'd expect, yeah.
They're on the industrial RSI side, easy, because industrial military side they make, because Kruger are the company that make all the components. Now, that's their law. They make all the bits and pieces. You got a gun, your trigger is probably made by Kruger. Your aiming sight is probably made by Kruger, and then that's the company that buy all the parts and then put them together and make the item. So they're constantly making all these precision parts. That's what Kruger is really renowned for. And they got to the point in one of their meetings, they said, well, we make all the parts, but we don't make the gun. And they just said, well, let's make the gun. And then they did the same thing with the ship. And so that's why we've got, you know, the gun that's on the Avenger was a gun that Kruger had developed, and it wasn't selling because they're an unknown company. No one knows their name.
Do they make a bunch of guns in game? Or is it is it just the Merlin? Is that all they've got right now?
No, the gun that's on the Avenger Titan, on the Avengers.
So that's a Kruger as well? So how many things? Can you count on like more than two hands?
The ones that I'm aware of, they're the Tiger Shrek gun. And the one that's on and then the size 2 that's on the P-52. They're the only ones I can recall offhand. Doesn't mean it's not. I just can't remember the others.
Yeah,
if there are.
So this was really interesting when they dropped that, because we've never ever seen anything like this. And if you're wondering where we took this from, this was the episode of the Santoki Eye, and Space talked about it in his video as well. It was a really interesting piece of information because we've never seen this. And this, like, obviously there's a few manufacturers missing, but it shows you everything you need to see. Like, Misk is literally down the bottom behind Algared's head, but look at Mirai, it's way up there. You know, like it's crazy. So it's just really interesting. Like, and there's things that we look at this that just don't make sense. Like, look where Origin is. Like, most people would expect Origin to be way over here near high design. Now it is still high design, but where are all the commercial ships from Origin? We don't have any.
Yeah, they're all.
So there's a shit ton.
Are more about high design.
How many have we got? We've got what, 5 ships from Origin, and so does that mean we've got to get another 5 that go towards commercial? You get my point, right? You know, it just it's kind of crazy to think that there's so many more ships out there.
Way down in commercial, and we've got the 890 jump, which is full on.
And I wouldn't put Crusader right next to Origin, not in a heartbeat, you know. Like, and this, I will say, this doesn't talk about tech level either. That's the other thing I wanted to bring in. Like, it doesn't talk about. So that's why you can have Origin right next to Crusader, because obviously Origin's a higher tech level and Crusader's like medium low. So
yes, John Flick has jumped in there in YouTube chat and said the 600i is commercial. Absolutely, 600i starts its life as a freighter.
So Zarek Masters on Thinger said maybe they count cargo hauling the VIP as commercial. Well, that could be a part of it, but the other thing me and Algared have speculated is one of the shop ships. I think Kraken Privateer or 890 Jump. We thought, well, what about an Origin high-end ship, right? So again, going towards high design, and 2 of those that we thought of was Fashion, because we've heard from people in that know people at CIG that they've apparently been doing a lot of female fashion because they know a lot of women play this game. So again, a shop where you could and this is just 2 shops. You could have any shop you want in there, right? But this is just 2 shops that we think are highly tailored towards high design fashion. And we also know from earlier this year where they showed off the meals. Hey, Space, you should be able to talk, by the way.
Hey, Space.
Hello.
Well, I've been waiting for you to talk for ages because you were
be there.
unmuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had to take care of something real quick.
All right, let me just finish this point real quick. Is meals, because when they went through Hurston, they had the high light meals, medium meals, and then they had like takeaway at the bottom. So you could essentially have a shop that has high-end restaurant in it, and that would go towards high design.
And you can expect that meals are going to have an impact on your performance. How long you stay full. How long, whether you get a bonus for healing, whether you get a bonus for, endurance or whatever, because you see that in other games as well. But the high quality meals give you more bonuses, and I could see that coming across. I know people say, "Oh, no," but I can see it.
I'm trying to flip Space so he doesn't look like a particularly lewd asshole. That's facing
just
away
talking to
from us.
Chad over here.
Yeah. There you go.
Talking to chat and chewing up 90% of the screen with his
Ugly frame.
Sorry,
the lack of
I'm a frame pleb.
That's right.
Was this a bigger deal for you, Space, when it dropped the other week, as it was for us? Like, we've never had this, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I've already referenced it in a video, and in fact, when I was going back to record this, if you look at the Inside Star Citizen where this showed up, it's the most replayed part of the episode. Oh, there's like some interesting things in that episode too.
Yeah.
Just this little picture is like everybody's like, yeah.
My memory is we had seen something similar to this in the past, but this was the first time that I can really recall they were talking about the manufacturing of ships.
I think they've talked about it, but I don't think they've ever shown.
I think we may have seen the idea, but certainly not as crisply presented as that one.
I do love the fact that if that is true, Space, that it was the most watched part of the video, that shows how interesting that this was to CIG. Not that they'd probably ever pick up on that, but it was very
like not just to the lore nerds, but like everybody who watched it was going back there to give it a look because it tells us so much.
It tells you so much about what's going on with where they're thinking the ships go and all the rest of it. And it's
absolutely. All right, I've got to go back to a different screen now, see if this works. Yep. Hey, I didn't butcher it terribly.
Everybody joined me in frames.
Right, I gotta flip you around. Hold on.
Got to flip you again, so you're not being
talking to Chad again.
Wait,
talking to Chat.
Cool.
We want you talking to us, not Chat.
Well, you've got it set up differently on your own thing, because that's the other thing. You actually appear the other way on your own stream. I've just realized.
Yeah, I have a couple different layouts.
Sorry, I butchered it. I clicked a fat finger the button. Everyone was muted then for a second too. We would have missed that. So yeah, sorry. Yeah. You're saying?
Oh, I just said I have it faces me a couple different directions based on the overlay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
So going back to the question, because that was a big excursive. Which manufacturer do you think will be the large, medium salvage ship?
I'll put that question to you, Space, because we went into that first, and then we were going to answer the question.
A medium salvage ship?
A large, medium salvage ship. What do you think it is?
If you were to speculate on what manufacturer it would be, and that's why we went into that, because it kind of tells you it's basically everything on the right-hand side is in the window, yeah? Everything. So I'll just bring this back up just for you personally.
Wait, do we have? I'm sorry, we have like a.
So we have a
prospective salvage ship coming.
But we have a repair ship coming from Anvil, and we have a repair ship coming from Aegis, right? So that basically means if you're going to get another one, it's either RSI Attack, Drake, or Argo, because they're on the right hand side next to Industrial. So they're all the potential manufacturers now. We can now use this literally as a reference. It's fantastic.
You don't think MISC might make a repair ship?
Well, again, it's commercial high design, so I would say no, just based on their own graph.
They do refining, mining, cargo hauling, and refueling.
That's why. And see, that's where it gets complicated because that is technically industrial, isn't it? But they are on the outside.
And then you look at the name, and it's Concession industrial space concern. So they're in the industry.
Yep.
But if I was looking at a salvage ship, I'd take out Drake, and I'd take out Aegis because they've got the Reclaimer.
Did he say Salvage or Repair, Algared? I thought he said Repair ship.
Salvage.
Oh, he did say Salvage. Okay.
So I take out, Aegis with Reclaimer and Drake with the Vulture.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think we lost Algared there for a sec. We'll be back in a flurry as usual.
Yeah, I think they'd be willing to go outside the lines of this graph more so than like their maybe Origin will make it.
Algared, you're back. All right. So what you were saying?
Yeah.
So yep.
So I could see Grey Cat doing it. I could see because they're known for and that's hard because I actually think there'd be a better mining doing a mining ship.
We've said that before, Space. Real quick, just on that note, Space. We think it was a real missed opportunity with the miner that they released from the second one from RSI, not the Orion, the other new one that they're talking about that came out around Citizencon. We think personally that would have been a real missed opportunity to be Grey Cat because the Ignis tick miner.
Yeah,
they could have given a tip of the hat to that, because they always said that the tick miner would never be available for players. But what if they made it like some other the tip of the hats, like the Spirit's a tip of the hat to the shuttles that go around Horizon. You know how everyone wanted the shuttles as a ship, but they said no. So that's a bit of a tip of the hat to that. And there's been a few other tip of the hats things that they've done. So would have been a really good opportunity. But I don't know. What's your thoughts? Do you think it would have been a good miner to come from Grey Cat, or are you happy that it's RSI?
I like RSI's industrial design. I'm really excited to see what they do with the smaller ship because the Orion, sorry, not the Orion, the Reclaimer is. No, that's Aegis. Jesus. It is the Orion. RSI Orion.
Yeah, it is Orion.
Very cool and different from both RSI and honestly every other ship in the game. I would say the closest that they come to would be the Aegis Reclaimer, which also is different from Aegis ships. So I'm interested in seeing a manufacturer that goes out of their wheelhouse to make something that's kind of out of left field, but in a size range that I personally really like, which is like anywhere from 30 to 50 meters. So it's an interesting ship to me. But who was it that you mentioned? Grey Cat doing it?
I was going Grey Cat, and the other one I was going to mention was Argo, because the MPUV was originally a light salvage vessel.
He's not wrong there, actually. There's really old footage that showed it with like an articulating kind of laser cutter.
Two articulating arms, one's with a laser and one's with a little claw. And the idea was it could go to a downed pilot and cut him out of a ship if needed, and it could also do repair and salvage for the minor repairs on the Idrises and stuff.
Algared, you know how we were talking about the expedition earlier with the two arms?
Yep.
The arms off the MPUV, but on the front of the cutter.
Yep.
Oh my god, there's more. Right. Anyway, we'll talk about that later because otherwise we'll put our tinfoil hats on and we'll lose space. But
I think Grey Cat would be cool. I'd like to see a Grey Cat ship. I agree with you there. I
think we might see more grand vehicles from them as well. I think they'll fall into that because one of the ones me and Paul talked about was Life Cure. The ones that make the medical things. We reckon that'd be really good as an ambulance. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Next question, please. By the way, Space, if you want to see the questions, they're in the Discord channel called Stream Questions. It's been a while. It's been like 12 months since you've been with us. So, yeah. And the ones that are emojied off.
I was just in here.
Yeah. They're the ones that have been emojied off. So every time Algared or I tick one of them, that means the one we've done. So we're on to the next one. So we're currently up to
thumbs up.
Yeah, we're up to John Flick. Yeah.
All right.
Right. You want to go?
And the red tells us that it's YouTube.
YouTube
tells us it's Twitch.
Yep. There you go. Cool. All right.
We like red.
All right. So John Flick says, question in regards to the Zeus. Seeing leaks, what kind of variant do you think we'll see? Sticking with what you've said before, has that changed? Yeah, I think there's a lot of speculation that's been coming out from the people that have been talking to me. I think at the end of the day, I think the only variant that I'm prepared to say that's coming is a Zeus. As for variants, we did talk about potential variants. Me and Algared sat down. I talked with a whole bunch of other people as well, especially when we were debating whether it's a medium or a large, and even some of the people that would talk to me have changed their tune about being a large. It very clearly is a medium, and we know that makes a lot more sense because there's all the ships it would compete with, wouldn't it, Algared? Just that alone changed it from being a large. As for professions, I would kind of lean into all we know of the old Zeus is a short range explorer, and that to me leans into touring. but it also means it leans into exploring. So something along the lines of transporting people, and something that probably leans into exploration, which is also in RSI's wheelhouse. But anything outside that, like, again, you could go into either of those, but I think everything is just speculation space. I think you would agree with us on that, yeah? That you can't really... They can go take it wherever they want, yeah? You can't just... Yeah, it's where they want it to go.
You could look at other ships with variants and then make calls based on that. Like, assume that there's probably going to be one general purpose sort of cargo-focused thing. There's probably going to be one that has some kind of a combat slant.
Yep.
And then, some other third wild card. I think since there was no M1 with the Spirit series, which, people would have loved an M1.
Let me throw this back at you. Let me throw this back at then. You know as well as I do, because I know you track a lot of the gameplay stuff, right? Bounty hunting. Could you potentially, knowing the Constellation is actually labeled as, I think it's medium freight gunship, that this could be another gunship, but that variant is tailored way more to, like, say, a smaller Redeemer, right? Would that be a possibility? Because, again, bounty hunting, and also in a weird way, slightly treads on the Cutlass Blue, because the Cutlass Blue is more of a pod transporter and less combat, where this would be the more combat one, and it would almost work with the Cutlass Blue.
I could see it, but at the same time, they also feel like they're leaning very towards non-lethal stuff for bounty hunting. So I don't know if you want a bristling gunship for the profession.
Just covered in distortions. That works. Oh,
God. FPS distortion guns.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Again, like I can sit here and speculate, and that's what me and Algared do. We speculate a lot, and we throw stuff back. But then, when we've speculated with you in the past and some of the others, you guys are a lot more conservative than we are.
Well, I'm a lot more conservative than you, but
yeah, I'm the tinfoil hat man. That's for sure.
I've pulled back more and more over the years.
There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, we have to do a video with Space, by the way, Algared. He still doesn't understand CCUs. He confessed it to me on a live stream. And I was like, right, then we're going to do another video. We're going to nail it into him. And we're probably going to... Loken got it first go. He got it straight away.
That information is going to go...
Well, I don't know. I've always had the feeling that if I can't explain it to you, then I'm like someone that's really into Demon Star Citizen... Then I'm not doing it right.
Let me ask you, Space. Let me ask you, what's a ship that you would like? A big ship.
A Vulcan.
You would like.
Oh, does it have to be a big ship?
Well, that's
well, that's really where CCUs really come into their
own.
An Orion. You were talking the Orion.
Yeah. Okay, an Orion. I'll live on an Orion. I'll do that.
I think we just lost Algared again.
Oh. He didn't like that choice. He didn't like Orion.
No,
I said Orion and he peaced out.
No, he's just got really bad internet connection where he lives. And, he's back.
We have. Right. We've been toying with the internet. We're actually starting to think it's the node, the actual...
Gosh, internet problems.
The street node is screwed because, it seems every time, it's 6 o'clock. Of course, everyone's starting to wake up and turn on their systems. So, yeah.
Before we keep going with the example with the Orion, I want to appeal to chat with my angle on this. Because we've done CCUs before. We've done a video here about it. I've done a video on my own channel about CCUs. I've literally done a video about it. It's like, you guys ever learn about something and you just don't care enough that your mind refuses to understand it?
Yep.
I like
mathematics.
Yeah, buying things in this game is so out there to me. So the idea of strategically buying things it bounces off my head. I understand the principle behind it. I understand how it works. I just don't care to, I guess, put in the time to think about it anytime when it pops up.
But at the very core principle, you understand the reason we try to teach it to people is so that they can get things for cheap.
Save money.
Yeah. And I think that's what Algared's about to explain to you. If that's what I'm
the game within the game.
Yeah.
If you actually want that big ship, you've got a choice. You can pay $350 or $450 or whatever the Orion is at the moment.
$575.
Jesus.
I pity those people who pay that price for it.
Well, you and I didn't,
No. But if you want the Orion now, you've got a choice. Pay $575 or buy a CCU to that ship for say $10 and then buy Warbond CCUs down the track and just buy the ones that fill in the gap to get that ship. You don't. It's not strategically buying at that point. You're saying, I want this ship. I just don't want to pay $5.75 for it.
Yeah.
How can I get it cheap?
Well, no, he's right. It is strategic buying. That is another way to look at it and that's how he looks at it, right? But one thing I'll tell you about Space is he just doesn't spend money on this game.
Yeah,
he
but
just
it's not a matter of.
He's the sensible one. He's the sensible one.
I continue to give ships to others, but so we keep giving the money. But
it's not a matter of buying the ship and going, buying war bond CCUs because I might be able to use it here. It might be able to use it here. I do know there are people who do that. But if you're really trying to save money, you go, this is the ship I want, and you buy the stuff to fill in that chain to get the ship you want.
Yeah, no.
Otherwise, you're just throwing money at.
And that's why, like, I'm not against it. I am. I have a video, like I said, on my channel that talks about it. I'm willing to talk about it. I will tell people about it. It's just, it's not for me. I think it's cool that people can save money, and obviously, there's a lot of questions to be had about CIG using that. But
I see it as this weird middle ground. So you've got these people that are like what they call whales that just literally throw money at CIG, and then you've got people on the other side that buy a starter pack, and that's all they ever buy. And then you've got now we've got this group in the middle that can buy. Instead of just medium amount of ships, you can be a modification of that where you can go more towards the whale side, or I can't afford as many ships. So it's now making that, so instead of there just being, these two ends, it's giving this whole modular piece in the middle where you can spend as much as you need to spend and get what you want to get, because it gives you more buying options. That's how I see it. It's not a flat purchase anymore. And if you want to be a real nickel and dimer, or you just want to spread your money as far as you can do both of those options now.
Make it last.
All right, next one, Algared.
Next question is from Bad Hog, who says, with the map update now to show demo, something with Pyro, do you guys think any different about them announcing a possible hard date for the release of Squadron 42 in 2024? Probably not.
Go Space. I'll let you take that one.
No. Well, I don't think that like the Pyro section in Citizencon makes any difference to that. But I don't think they were going to announce a hard date anyways. I think if anything, we might get a release window, a time of year, a date.
Absolutely correct. They have learned dates are a really bad idea. We may get a date 3 to 6 months before.
Yep.
But I'll be very surprised if they give us a hard date. I think they've still got some work to do before then.
Yep.
They need to just be like, yeah, it'll come out November 2024, and then like November 1st, they'll be like, okay, it's the 17th. Get ready.
I reckon it might even be seasonal. Like they'll go winter or summer or something like that, or
Q1, Q2,
Q1,
Q3,
Q2. Yeah. It'll be summer, winter, because they're not globalized yet. They don't use quarters.
The only thing I've heard that gives any hard date is that the plan was to close out Squadron 42 by the end of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what they're aiming for.
I think it will clearly be Citizencon next year at the latest.
Yeah, for the launch. Yep.
So yeah. All right.
And yeah.
Yeah, right. David Watson says, question, what do you think will be the best CCU chain deal that we could see at Citizencon? All right. Well, honestly, we can't answer this because we don't know what the CCUs are.
Yep.
And that's why I ran myself ragged on the last day of Citizencon when they dropped all those CCUs that are different from all the ones that came before it. And I basically built a video and a guide on that day, and I drop it as quickly as as soon as I can, because that gives you then 2 days to buy all those CCUs. So
do they actually give us Warbond CCUs at Citizencon, or is it more the IAE?
It's more the AIE and Invictus, but we do get random ones throughout the year. So a really good example of this year for anyone that was paying attention was the Hull C one. This will be the last time it's available to purchase. Well, we recommend people brought that, and the ship went up $150 in price. Space.
Oof.
Yeah.
So that means
it's more expensive than the D, right?
Yeah, at the moment, right now it is. But it also means if you're going above the Hull C, you got $150 off every ship that's up above the Hull C, because you can put it in a chain and go up.
If you had the CC to it already, yeah.
Giving Algared's example, you could go. Don't quote me on this, but I think you can go to the Orion. So essentially, you get $150 off the Orion if you had a Hull C.
You had one Hull C CCU, $150 off the next ship we went up to.
I had 3 of them. Anyway, right. Not to boast. Right. Walter Hack says, even if they release a demo or beta for Squadron 42, and the player then goes to the
PU and notices all the bugs, how do you feel like it's a good marketing at this time if I release a better demo?
Well, because you're trying to sell people on a single player game, not a multiplayer. That's one thing we were talking about earlier, Space. So I personally believe, and I'd like you to weigh in, and Algared, and even Chuck can weigh in here, but I think if they're going to get us to use word of mouth to sell Squadron 42, there needs to be a demo for us to show people. Do you think that is an essential part of it, or do you think it's just more hype? Woohoo! And you got to remember, Star Citizen's been around for 10 years on hype. I think if I took this to my friends, they would just laugh at me if I didn't have a demo. I need something to put in their face and go, play this. Shut up and play this, you know?
I think that if they did want people to get on board, yeah, they would need to show something more than just a trailer. But I'm not sure they need people to get on board yet. You know, I think a year-long hype cycle for this game feels too long. It feels like...
Okay. I remodify my question then. Eventually.
Okay.
Eventually, do they need a demo? Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. 100%. They need to show that the game actually freaking works.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I think that right now, you know, something that's a little bit more focused on the community and things that the community would be interested in, as opposed to like showing off a general gaming industry kind of this game works sort of demo would be better. Because right now, if you got people super into the idea of Squadron right now, they would talk about it for 2 months, a new year would come around, and the jokes would start again. So I think if they're going to introduce people to Squadron, really really introduce it, it has to be a consistent, you know, marketing push until the game comes out.
Yeah.
My thought is we'll see a marketing push, but I think PU is our demo. And I know the PU is buggy, but, you know, that's really showing what you can do in Squadron. So I think the PU is effectively our demo, and at the moment, it does a good job. Now, is it perfect? No. Is it buggy? Yes. But it's also showing it is also showing what is happening in the industry. You know, in fact, we've got large maps now. Now we don't even think about the large maps and the impact of large maps.
So apparently someone rated us that we missed called Todd Bridges, and he's apparently an actor. That's what I'm looking up on my screen that you two can see.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently you rated us. Okay, nice to meet you, Todd. I missed your raid message. Sorry, man. We are new to Twitch. We are not kind of used to that. But yeah, thank you for the raid. I totally missed it, and I do apologize. But yeah, thank you, Todd. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Thank you for rating us. Hope you're playing some Star Citizen. Let us know in the chat. I will follow it. I can actually see his name now. So yeah. But yeah, we get caught up in questions here. We do a lot of talking about the game and never play it and stream it. It's the weirdest stream you'll ever see. Space will go play the game for hours on end and go into every nook and cranny. And we tried playing the game. Space, this is how weird it is. We started playing the game. Algared stopped kind of playing because there were so many questions. And then I stopped playing the game because I was getting growled at for not paying attention.
This live stream was to the questions.
Sorry, Algared, you've just come back. Say again.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, we started this stream was originally planned. We will play the game and talk about the game as we're playing.
Yeah,
that was going to be that was our goal.
and it's just deteriorated into just answering questions, and that's fine. Oh, and we also watch ISC and
the funny thing is, people will be like, "Oh, you play video games on camera for people." It's like, no, actually, spend most of the time just talking.
But it's
podcast basically.
It baffles my mum. She's like, everyone else is playing them, and you're talking.
You're just talking heads. That thing me as well. Yeah. I don't get it.
Well, because one of my other brothers is a streamer, and so he like his stream is really weird compared to mine. Like, because he's always playing like League and Call of Duty and things like that, and it's just so, like he hates it because I've got a bigger channel than him. But that's the debate around the Christmas table. We'll leave it at that. But anyway,
so the demo thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the danger that comes, and I guess it's more of an annoyance than a danger, is if they, and when I say demo, I don't mean like a playable demo. People don't need to play it. They just need to see it. But,
so you mean like an in-game interactive trailer,
just a vertical slice, just showing that the game is actually a game.
Yep.
Like, because think about this: if people find out about Squadron 42, for a lot of people that's the first time. I think there isn't necessarily going to be that sense of, oh, well, I'll just look at Star Citizen to understand how the game plays. I think they're going to go and search Squadron 42 on YouTube, see the gameplay demo from 2017, and see that as the most recent stuff they have to show, and be like,
yeah,
you know, it would be weird to look up a new game and not be able to find any gameplay that's more than 6 years old or less than.
But if they can't play it, isn't it then just a trailer? So if it's not playable, they can't. Like, I think you need to give them something that they can sink their teeth into. You know, they have to be able to play one level of it or the vertical slice, literally.
I think just seeing it, you know, that's how a lot of games are marketed these days.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, Space, in terms of, you know, if you've got a new game, you want to see the vertical slice or the demo of it being played, showing what you can do in the game. You want a recent one. You don't want a 6-year-old one, and you don't want it to be, you know, a polished set scene where you know it's not gameplay, where you know it's just the manufactured film type thing where they're just using assets as not gameplay. You want it to be a actual gameplay. You're watching actual gameplay, and you want it to be modern gameplay, not So yeah.
And that's always hard to prove. Like, literally, no matter what you see on a computer. I mean, look at the freaking Google Pixel just came out, and it gives people like the ability to easily just move stuff around a picture. So at this point, you know, what's gameplay? How do we believe it? It's whether you take them at their word or not. But I do think at least trying would be better.
I think that leads into a question I'd follow up to that me and Algared have talked about is retail boxes. Like, we know that they designed the silver and green tins, but like, as if they're not going to take the opportunity to make multiple collector's editions for this thing.
Yeah,
you know,
look, I know for a fact that when they were talking tins and are talking closing dates, whales like me we're going to CIG and saying, how can I get all the boxes? How can I make sure I get everything? How can I make sure I get all the boxes? Because
all the boxes.
I want them all.
That's how collectible. Like, some people think I want the silver edition, I want the green edition, I want the whatever edition, and
platinum edition, the white edition,
slightly lighter green edition.
Yeah.
The polished turd edition. No.
And they said, oh look, the extra packs would probably be around this price. Buy a constellation pack and then melt it to upgrade to the packs. Now, that was way back when they thought that would be possible. I don't even think they'll be able to do that on the old model, because they closed them down so they could actually lock in the numbers they needed.
Probably work out cheaper in most countries just to go buy it from a retail location rather than buy it from CIG.
But if they get a distributor who's packaging the game just for those people who bought it, and then they put it into the shops, then that opens the door for that ability to pick up all those extras. So
I'm just answering Zarek's question here. He says the game, this is on Twitch by the way, he says the game has too much freedom to let players play one level without adding artificial barriers that would hamper gameplay. Absolutely, they can do that. They just turn off certain planets that you can't go to, so you can only go to that one planet. And then the only other thing is you've only got the one mission to do, so there's no added cinematics in it. There's no something. There's a way they can restrict it and refine it.
Just court-martial you.
Yeah,
they don't even have to turn off the planets.
You have gone outside the area of mission.
No.
Bang, you know,
you don't even have to do that.
You're deserting the military.
You're limited on your fuel.
That's actually even better. You can only warp to that moon. You can't go anywhere. Yeah, that works on so many levels.
Until you find the random Starfarer AI out there and wreck the game.
I'm sure someone will do it, and then they'll just go in and patch it and remove the fuel from the
Starfarer.
Yeah,
that's right.
Starfarer's
got no fuel in it, so
they'll find a way. Their game designers would have thought about it. Yeah,
well, unbreak it, if you know what I mean.
All right, Algared, next question, please.
Access 0096. Do you think we will see other solar systems, at least in conceptual art, at Citizencon this year? I can't see why not, when they're showing the worlds.
Right, I need to read that myself. I was distracted. Sorry.
do you think we will see other solar systems, at least in conceptual art, at Citizencon this year?
So I think he's essentially saying, would we see anything from Nyx? What do you think about that space?
Possible. They've shown concepts from even Terra before. Like, they showed Terra armor, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and we saw in-game shots of Nyx a couple years ago. The thing is, this Citizencon is so much more focused on the current than the future that I don't know if they're going to waste time on that.
I agree with you. There's been a real shift from talking about things that they potentially want to do, and this kind of happened with the removal of the keynotes in the digital one last year. They've gone from that whole this is the future to this is what we've done, and it almost seems like they're using ISC now. Like if we look at back, let's just take bounty hunting. They showed off bounty hunting at earlier on in the year. Just last week, they showed off the Hawk having itself modified to take the bounty hunter pods, and then obviously I'm expecting something at Citizencon that actually shows us bounty hunting, right? And you could pick,
I hope so, man.
You could pick a thing like that from ISC, right? Because we've all seen the progress, but there's a lot of them we haven't seen the final iteration of, and it's all been safe for Citizencon.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like early on, saying this is what we want to do, this is where we're heading, made sense. And there's an element where you still want, I think, some of that. But you also want to see, certainly the backers want to see this is what we've done, and I think that also boosts the company itself, boosts the staff. Hey, this is what you guys have done this year. This is what we've accomplished. It's a positive. It gives that real positive feel. Where if you're just saying, "This is where we're heading. This is where we're heading. This is where we're heading," there's almost an empty feeling. Yeah, you've been saying that for 10 years. Where is it? So it's.
Let me ask you two a question then. Honestly, if all we see, because from what we've heard, like have you seen that space that they updated the map on the showroom floor to say "Welcome to Pyro"?
Pyro,
right?
Yeah.
So if all we saw was Pyro again, so don't quote me if I'm wrong, our 5th year of Pyro, would you guys be annoyed? Because I'm gonna be fucking annoyed. If it's literally 5 years of Pyro, I'm gonna lose my mind. It has to be something. It has to be something
because they skipped 2020.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, people listen to Citizencon and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be Pyro again," and honestly, they don't focus that much on Pyro. Last year, they had, I think, 2 panels about Pyro. One was about the planets, and then the other one was about UGFs, which probably will end up coming to Stanton anyways. I think there might have been one more. But this year, again, if you look at the panels, it's really not a focus on Pyro. I think, again, it's one panel that focuses on Pyro. They're trying to focus on gameplay.
Agreed.
Yeah. And when you look at, I'm just going to say, the background screen you developed, execute, you went in and you got these scenes from, over jump point stations. I think the fact that that's in game, the fact that they're talking on the show floor of Pyro, I think the indications are we're getting Pyro. Whether they've got jump points working or not, I think they're going to make it that we've got Pyro. What I would like to see is at least we hold Pyro off until we get the jump points working, because that's almost seemed to be the thing that you want, isn't it? That flying through the jump point.
I can't remember if it was Paul's or Space's video that I watched during the week, but one of you stated that was it in the September monthly report that they have put them in game and they're rigged up now, the jump point. So they're almost all there ready to go now, like for them to flick it on, so to speak. Is that you that said that, or was it Paul? I can't bloody remember. There's too many videos.
If it's from a monthly report, I'd say it was Paul, but
maybe. Do you remember words to that effect, though, Space? That they in the September they finished hooking the jump points up in game?
I do not, to be honest.
Must have been Paul then. So,
I'd say it was the monthly reports report. I haven't read the September monthly reports in detail yet, so.
Yeah, I did not have the time to make a video on that one, so I read through. I don't even know if I went over on stream. So yeah, I might have missed that.
All right. Yeah. Well, I remember hearing it somewhere. So I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing things and going crazy.
Yeah, I read the Squadron 42 ones in a little bit more detail, but I haven't had a chance to even touch the PU one. So if that's the case, then that's huge. And I think that would say, we're not just getting Pyro again; we're getting Pyro, and it's not just they're telling us about Pyro. I could see them clicking Pyro, which for those of us who aren't at Citizencon at the venue, that's a bonus.
Well, Space, you're going, aren't you? you're going to be in LA, or you're already in LA, aren't you not?
Yeah. No. I am actually. We're about to are getting packed right now to get going. We're leaving in about tomorrow morning, pretty early. Soon.
Would you mind on one of the 2 days if I like shoot you a message on Discord and like call in and check with you on the show floor? Would that be like at lunchtime? Would that be okay with you? Or are you going to be busy? Okay if you're busy.
We're pretty busy because we're trying to take videos while we're there. So I can see if I can, but at the same time, I have to call into my own community. We have a what's it called? A watch pattern going.
Well, you reach out then if you've got 5 minutes free, okay? And
we'll do, man.
We'll talk to you. I just thought I might check in with you and Paul, like one each day, and just like see how you're taking it in, and obviously talk to people on the live stream, because there's obviously going to be a lot of people at home watching. Unfortunately, they're going to be a little bit disconnected, but I do hope we get a bit of an insight this year with so many content creators being on the floor, that we get a different perspective, because generally we've not, well, the other countries that it's been in, there's not been enough bandwidth for people to stream on the floor. I've never seen a stream that's not CIG based. Have you? Either of you gents?
No, I don't even know if it's going to work with all the people there. So we'll see how it goes.
How are you intending to do it? Just because I thought about it, how I would do it, and you'd have to. The only thing I'm thinking of is through mobile phone connections. It's the only thing.
Yeah. You can't do anything else. I mean, you might get a hotspot, but that's still going to use the same connection.
So you having a camera going to a phone, from a phone to the internet, essentially, I'm assuming?
Just phone.
So just
simple phone.
Just this. Okay.
Well, yeah, we have like a gimbal. We have microphones. We have plenty of stuff to go with it. But yeah, just using a phone for visuals.
Awesome. All right. Well, maybe I'll cut across to your stream at some point and have a talk to you if I get a chance. That'd be great.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Next question.
Here's a thought before we do move on.
Right.
If Pyro, we know that they're likely going to have consoles on the floor, which people can try something. What if the consoles actually are accessible to people as they flip the switch to fly to Pyro?
Potentially, we don't know.
Give the people at the con the chance to fly through the con.
Real quick, guys, I got to step away for a minute here. I will be right back.
See you shortly.
So now's the time to talk about him behind his back.
No, it is not Algared. What the hell are you doing? Don't do that.
Well, you don't want to compliment him while he's there, because it gives people a big head.
You're almost as bad as Badges. Every time I talk to Badges about space, he goes, "Oh, I just want to hear his voice." Like, it's so awkward. It's so awkward. It's like he wants him to read him bedtime stories or something. It's rather bizarre. Right, Algared, I'm being left alone. All right, now he's back. Question. Yeah, all right. What was it? Graceful? Graceful? Go ahead. I'll let you read it.
So Earl Graceful says, there is not one word about Squadron 42 and nothing in the presentation at Citizencon. Is this bad news? No release date? Or really great news, as in mind blown?
Yeah. Look, there's been 2 times that Chris Roberts himself has said they'll be talking about Squadron 42 at Citizencon. One was in a presentation to the people at a bar citizen at Shanghai, and the other one was it was some form of letter. I can't remember where I've seen it though. But do you remember?
I can't remember the letter. I just know there's been a time where he said.
Well, let's not go back to one then. Yep. He said at Shanghai. He'll be talking about it.
And solar meshing. They were the 2 topics I heard that they were talking about.
Yep. And there was somewhere else I heard about it, and I can't remember exactly where I recorded it, but yeah. So at least we've got one example that they're going to be talking about it at Citizencon. And that's the other thing I'd like to ask Space when it comes back. That 3-hour block on the schedule, I don't care what people White Knight say about that. If they are having that event open to that late, when the last one's at 4 o'clock, there's literally a 3-hour block sitting there. You can see things that they've accidentally forgot to delete and things like that. There's definitely something in there. But yeah.
Now, I'm going to jump in on the YouTube chat, because Patrick S. says, and Chris Roberts never changes his mind. You're right, he doesn't. He actually sticks, he's like a dog with a bone. He tries to get it in, and if he can't get it in, it's because the tech will not allow him. Like, you look at some of the stuff. You look at the classic example I can think of at the moment is Death of a Spaceman. Death of the Spaceman was
Good
always
example.
said you will have X number of lives, and then you'll be dead, and your assets will go over to, you'll create a new character, and everything will transfer to that character. And if you've got an NPC, you could actually designate that NPC as your heir apparent. Now, the problem with Death of the Spaceman was, how do we get you to have those number of lives if someone caps you, if someone goes out and deliberately kills you, they space you? And so they needed a system that actually applied what they said they wanted. And that's what the regen system does. It enables them to say, okay, you regen, you get regen trauma, you eventually die, you create a new character. That was always the plan. You go back as far as you like, and that's always been the plan. Regen Tech just put that into motion and gave it form. So they don't change their mind time and time again. So I just see that now.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Welcome back.
Welcome back. To where you
Showing my age.
That's right.
What I miss?
Welcome back. That's welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah, it was. Right. So talking about a few different things. There was a question, but I just want to double check this thing here. I know you guys are looking at my stream, wondering what I'm doing, so I'll flick it over for everyone else. But someone in chat said it's not 3 hours. It's only 2 hours, but that says 4 o'clock to 7.
But the session before
So he's right. It's probably 2 hours. Yep. Just double check. Well, hey, I wasn't saying he's wrong or I'm wrong. I was just trying to find the facts, and the facts is I was wrong and he's right. It is 2 hours.
Yep.
So yeah, 2 hours. But yeah, I think you can clearly see that there's room there. Space, what do you think? Like I know you're less tinfoil hat than me, so do you think that there is something in this block that they're talking about, considering it's open for 2 hours, and there's nothing in there, or yeah?
Yeah, I know there was like I originally had speculation about that too, because they like left the little time thing there, and it's like this huge gap. I just think it's free time. I mean, I generally am just going to take people at their word. Maybe that makes me ignorant and naive, and sometimes I get tricked because of that, which is fine. You know, it's nice to be tricked sometimes, but I think that it might just be time to do stuff.
All right, let's get your response on the original question then. Was essentially that there's no mention about Squadron 42, but at Shanghai, when they did the Bar Citizen, he talked about talking about Squadron 42 at Citizencon. So there's absolutely nothing on there about Squadron 42. You have to assume it's in those last 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, I figured it would be in the closing ceremony.
Or that, but then again, that is short as shit. That is not even 45 minutes as far as
45 minutes. I mean, 45 minutes is enough time to show us a 5-minute trailer, do a 10-minute talk through of what's going on, and then give us a 2-minute presentation for an update. Plus more news about Star Citizen.
Or 45 to so it's 45 minutes. It is 45 minutes, right? But yeah.
They're probably more like 30, 5 minutes for startup or
it's
whatever.
Chris Roberts. It's going to be
it's
Chris Roberts. It's going to be 3 hours.
Yeah, it's also going to be delayed somehow.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see.
You just pair Chris with Sandy and let Sandy ask the questions and keep him on track.
Oh boy, yeah, absolutely. She's good at that. She knows her husband better than any of us. Right. I think that answers that question.
I like the one where Sandy was interviewing. She just said, "Just tell me in simple language, so I can understand."
Have you watched that older video? That was from it was back when they had this M50 as a poster behind people, and it was just like no one else could say that to Chris except her. It was quite funny.
And he just cut him off and just said, "Yeah, okay, that's great. Now tell me so I can understand." And okay,
that's fair.
She even did that in Shanghai on the video. She goes, "You can't talk that long. He's got to translate it." And he talked for like 5 minutes, and then the poor Asian guy's just like, "All right, summarize," and like literally like 1 minute. Like it's just funny. Like he. Anyway, all right. Next one, Algared, please.
We've done that one. Stefan's the Yeti says, with all the ships nearing the finish line, which ones do you see being made available at SCC versus IAE?
Space, do you want to take that one? Sorry, I'm background.
Which ones do you think will be at Citizencon versus IAE?
I think at Citizencon, depends on if you mean in-game or just presented. but I think at CitizenCon we'll probably see the Spirit series.
Agreed.
I think we will see an update on the Polaris.
I'll give you that one. An update. I wouldn't say we'll see the ship, but I'd definitely give you an update. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, like it's not like the ship will be done or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the G12. Plus something that we haven't seen before.
An update,
I think there will be something unannounced.
An update or the G12?
No, an update. Okay. In terms of like actually delivered things, the only things I think we might see this week be the A1 Spirit and the Tumbrel Storm.
Yep.
And then something unannounced.
Isn't the Tumbrel Storm scheduled on the schedule for the patch of the one that will come at AIE though?
It's at it's on 321 and it says tentative. Maybe they said it would be.
I thought it was 321X.
They haven't broken them out on the release view.
Right, cool. I would have thought the cutter because we've seen.
That's true.
Oh well, yeah. That's true. The cutter variant.
It's really weird. Like, why is that thing there? Does that mean we're going to get the cutter, the Spirit, and well, like I know we're saying it's the Zeus, right? So I'm just going to change the analogy to a straight to flyable ship, right? An unannounced straight to flyable ship is very common at CitizenCon, especially given previous years. So I would expect to see something that is essentially unannounced. And the rumor is, you know, the plushie and the coin that comes in the digital pack, they are for the Zeus. So it's a Dorito plushie and a Dorito coin. But yeah, you get my feeling there. I don't know. Would you agree that chances are, like, whether you agree in the Zeus or not, high chance that there's a straight to flyable there, based on previous years?
You're talking about like with leaks or just?
I'm not saying Zeus, right? Because obviously I think it's the Zeus, right? But I'm saying statistically, based on previous CitizenCons, the chance of a straight to flyable ship is very highly likely. Yeah. And Algared, do you agree?
Like that. Straight to flyable ship or straight to drivable vehicle, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. Right, Algared, next one, please, buddy.
Question is Luminaria. You guys are already doing questions? Yeah, that makes it sense with no IRC. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we always take questions. You know that. Sometimes we take your questions and say, we'll make a show out of that. And then hold it off deliberately.
He's talking about no, there's someone called Luminaria. We have a running joke with them. Every time they ask us to do an episode, we just push their episode back. And he never doesn't ask a question, so it's just never going to get done.
Weepy Sleeper says, will we have a stream of Execute on a running track doing his victory laps when he gets his Reclaimer cutter?
No, I think I'm probably going to be more of the broken clock approach. Broken clock is right twice a day.
Collapses in a heap of exhaustion out of just, it's finally here.
Yeah, I think I'll be vindicated enough just knowing that there's so many people that told me that thing's a drone over the years and that it's not a ship and that it's not a thing and anything that's older than 5. Do you hear that at all, Space? I'd actually like to get your take on that. Like, and I'll ask the question in a minute, but yeah, basically vindicated that I was kind of right, and that is all I'll need. I don't need to toot my own horn or anything like that. But what I was going to get to with you, Space, is me and Algared have found is unless they talk about something again to update it, even those documents way back at the beginning, an example that Algared gave in this episode was Death of a Spaceman. That thing hardly even changed in 10 years. And then they re-released the letter. So when Algared and I take them at face value, if there's something that they haven't talked about since 2013, we still take it as gospel. And there are other people like, oh, that's too old, it's changed. Where's your stance on that?
I take it as derivative, that they're aiming for it and they'll probably nail something close to it, but they're just going to try and, like, because they don't know what the code can do. So It depends on what their feature tech people can make happen, and they'll try and get as close as they can.
Would you take that as best intentions?
Yeah. I think they aim for that.
And that's exactly
like if you look at.
That's where an Algared and I land. Yeah,
it's exactly the same. You know, people say Chris Roberts changes his mind all the time, but he doesn't. He says, this is what I want to do, and he aims for that. And if he doesn't do it, it's because he physically can't do it. It's just beyond the scope of what tech will allow.
Or as Space is saying, yeah, as the tech will allow. Sorry to cut
I think he'll shift things at times. I don't think he always changes his mind or anything.
He tries to stick to his guns. You know, we've heard reports about the elevators. Did you ever hear about? Apparently, he had to get set down by a couple of the game designers because he actually wanted like physical elevators for all the for everywhere they went, and they essentially said this will just take way too long to do. Let's just do it with splines and make the elevator have no windows because he wanted them to apparently have windows. And you know, you're in the train and you're going down the train. He essentially wanted elevator. Like train elevators, so you could see where you go all the way through. It'd be sick. I have you not, especially if you could be on the outside of the space station and see the elevator going up and stuff like that. That'd be mad. But
you look at
maybe if they just combined it to certain areas and limited the scope a little bit.
You look at the Javelin. The Javelin has an elevator at the front that goes up and down, so you can look out the ship as you're going on the elevator. Levski has the elevator that go. You know, you can look at it as you go up and down. So. I'd like there to be areas where you see that. Where
specific places, yeah. But, I mean, honestly, if anybody looks at a design document for a video game, like we're talking about a video game here, come on. If you look at a design document for a video game and you are expecting nothing to change over a decade, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, it makes sense that things change. And like I said, I think things are generally derivative. Like, they brought in hull scraping, and there was no salvage document, but that was something that was included in the repair section. So, you know, it came to the game, just not quite how they said it would.
Well, that's why we agree with, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth because I did frame it a certain way, which was best intent. That's what we feel it is. Like, yes, you are absolutely 100% correct. Given anything on a scale of time, it has to change, right? But again, look at Death of a Spaceman. That didn't even really change more than 5%. It changed very little. The only thing that was really kind of added to it was more of the lore of how they were going to do it with the Vandal. That was the biggest part of all that, right? It really didn't fundamentally change. They just gave it more backbone.
So, but I agree with you.
See, that's an example.
The big one.
That's an example. Yeah. I don't disagree with you. Like, it's best intent, and there is definitely going to be things that change. But when someone fundamentally comes out and says, "Oh, that's just thrown out the window," I don't agree with that. And Algared doesn't agree with that, right? It was their best intent, and until they come out and tell me X has changed, so they give us an update. So this is the old document, and it doesn't matter where it is back here. When they come out and give another one in front of it, then I'll believe that new one, right? And that's exactly what happened with Death of Spaceman. And so we're talking about whatever we're talking about. Like, you can pick a subject, right? When the new one comes out, then I will take the newer one at face value. But when there is nothing said, like, what's that really old one out that we always debate? The old, the biggest ship to go through a small jump point is the Freelancer. And I think that got updated maybe 2 years ago, and it's now basically, you can essentially say it's anything that's on an S2, right? An S2 pad will be able to go through the smallest jump point, which basically makes the biggest ship now the Legionnaire, from memory. But yeah, anyway.
Couldn't recall, but you know.
We're getting into semantics here, but you're getting the point I want to try to make.
Yep.
But yeah. Anyway, all right.
John's
all in agreement.
Unless you guys want to add anything else.
No, sorry.
All right, so John Ski has a question. He says, "Are you two whales?" I assume he's not talking to you, Space, because you...
I'm not a whale. Why do people think I'm a whale? I'm not a whale. I'm a beluga, at best.
Right. I mean, people just assume all the time. People come into my stream and assume that I'm like a concierge. I actually saw somebody make a comment about that earlier. Oh, the streamers don't need platinum tickets. They've all got their concierge F8s anyways.
Aren't you a concierge? You would be at least a concierge from the giveaways, no?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Not concierge. Whatever the 10,000 thing is.
Legatus?
I don't know.
What's it called?
Yeah.
Wing Commander, right. Okay. Well, I'm not Wing Commander. I'm not Wing Commander. I don't have an F8. I don't know. What would you start to say as a whale? Would you say that's $1,000 or 10,000?
I think it depends on. Man, I don't know, because
whale,
it's different if it's 10,000 in a year versus 10,000 in 10 years.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, but a whale to me is the high end of town. It is like, so. What is that? Like, that's 10 to 27,000. Legatus is 27,000. So like everything is 27,000. I would say it is 15K,
maybe like
half, maybe. I don't know.
Top 5%.
Yeah,
people, the top 5% of highest amount of backers could be. I don't know. I don't know, because the scale is always different, right? A whale in Candy Crush might be different from a whale in
absolutely.
Gosh, well, I don't even know.
Have we? I don't want to mention it on stream, but did me and Algared ever tell you the biggest account we've personally seen?
No.
I will text it to you, right? Because it's not something want to be packed. Yeah, it's big.
It made mine look small.
Yeah, that's what you say to all the girls, don't you, Algared? Anyway, right.
Looks like you guys got raided. We got raided on Twitch.
Oh, did we? By who? Because I'm not good at this. That's in USD, by the way. Space when you read it. Right. Who do we get raided by?
In USD. Oh my god!
Told you it was big. You didn't believe me.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know how, but we saw it and we were like, holy shit, that guy spent way so much money. And this was like what, 5-6 years ago now, wouldn't it be? So probably that person's yeah. So that person could be even bigger by now. Who raided us? Like, I can't see. I'm not good with this Twitch thing. First time chat from Raider.
Yeah, that person made me feel good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It made me feel not as crazy as I am.
Whistlelock is raiding with a party of 21. Thank you, Whistlelock, for the raid. How did you go? I assume you were playing the game. We don't play the game here. We just talk about the game. We get so many questions that we get told off if we play the game. We get growled out here. Our chat is very savage. They like to buy this. I've got marks. No, just kidding. But
it is over $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're now arguing. Is that account over $100? 120.
Let's just say it's north of 100K. I think that kind of covers it. And there was news articles about someone that had $21,000, and it dwarfs that by a lot. It's a lot. It's scary how much that person has paid, because you try to work out, like, you go, Legardus is 27 grand. So how, like, and when we did the math on it, we were like, why? Like you work that out. You know the final amount. Take 27,000 and divide it by that, and your mind explodes. Like, how could you spend that much money? It's crazy. Like, I can't.
Someone who supported the game.
Poor impulse control.
See, that's not buying to buy. That's to support the game.
Yeah, it has to be,
like,
because
that's investing.
Like once you are beyond double everything in the game, like,
yeah, there's no point in buying the extras. And I think, I don't know, is there a system I don't know about?
I wish. I know that if I had an option to invest rather than buy, I would have invested.
Yeah, I mean, like, for some people, $100,000 is like, you know, throwing in some, like, I don't know, you
is it 28,000 Algared or 27,500? What's the Legardus?
27, I think.
Yeah, worst time to lose him. I'm gonna make it 27, right? So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong on the math. But look at that. Yeah. Don't repeat it, because they can work it out if you repeat it. But that is nuts.
Well,
Legardus is now up to, I think.
Algared? What's up to?
I believe the Legardus pack is now getting close to 40 odd. So 42, 45.
Oh yeah, that's got all the paints and shit. They don't count. I remember when it first came in, it was like 27K, and then it went up to like 28 or something like that. But even at that number, that is nuts. So yeah. Anyway, right. We've gushed over that for a bit. Let's talk about the next question, please, Algared.
The next question was from John Ski.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, are you two whales planning to spend more money at Citizencon on ship's gear? I'm staying away from the small ships, no matter what.
Again, based on value, like, the Zeus is not something that I would buy, and I think, Algared, you'd be in that ballpark as well. Yeah, that's just not something that you and I would be interested in. Yeah,
it's RSI.
Yeah. Oh, you'll buy it. You will buy it.
I'll buy it because it's RSI. That for me.
But I mean, from a value proposition, it's not going to be something that we recommend.
From a value proposition, it's not something we would normally recommend. But while I remember, because I went to the website, and I did remember that at the moment, because it's spooky week, if you are got a friend who you're wanting to get into the game, the Cutter Super Spooky Starter Pack is by far the best deal that you can get on the webpage at the moment.
Down to $45, yeah?
$45.
Mm-hmm.
Cutter, the game pack, and a skin for the same price that you pay for an Aurora. By far the best pack. So if you've got a friend or you're looking to get a ship for a friend, that's probably the best one to get. Yes, it doesn't have LTI, but that's a great starter pack. Bar none.
Yeah, I think the Zeus and Spirit things like that, when they come out, they'll be great for the people that are, you know, more starting out. But for us kind of veterans and those with bigger ship packages, there's something that you can pass on. Put it this way, if you have a Constellation, why would you buy Zeus? You know? Again. So yeah.
We're well into the territory of redundancy when it comes to ships. Like, people shouldn't be considering every ship that comes out at this point.
Absolutely.
They're insane if they do.
When we do a fix my
in some places, I guess.
When we do a fix my fleet space, the very first question we ask someone is, what do you want to do in game? What profession do you see yourself playing? And that guides everything from there. Absolutely everything comes from that, because it starts you to shape their fleet back into what they want, but it also lets them tell us what they want to do in game. So we've had people come in and say, oh, I want to do repair, and then you look at ships and there's no repair ships in there, right? And we've had people come and say, oh, my favorite ship's the Reclaimer, and they've spent $5,000 on ships and there's no Reclaimer.
Oh, they want to work towards it.
Yeah, so we ask them all those questions. It is a really tailored to them experience, and you'll be surprised. Like, people just have glazed over, and they've brought all these FOMO. They're just like the F8C Lightning. How many people do you know? You would have talked to a lot of people like me in the last week, and Algared. How many people do you know that picked that thing up? Like, a shit ton of people picked it up.
I actually didn't talk to too many people. I think I saw maybe like 5 or 6 people that bought it. But that, I would say, a majority of the people I actually asked did, which surprised the heck out of me.
And it's a $300 ship. We'll put it this way. You know value. You're not an idiot. Would you have brought an F8C or a Redeemer? Now, a Redeemer is $25 more.
Oh.
If you had the money to spend and you were being forced at gunpoint, Redeemer or F8C?
Redeemer.
Yeah, and I'm the same. So I have the Redeemer, so I didn't get an F8C. That simple, you know. And not to mention your favorite, the MSR, the Constellation, or the Corsair. They are all much better ships, and you've also got the Caterpillar above as well. They do far more.
I'm also going to say Crucible and Endeavour.
Well, I get what you mean. But yeah, they're getting a little bit high up there, but below is different because, you know, it becomes 2 to 1. But when you've got to go more than, you know, it's different. But like,
how much was the F8C?
$300.
All right, so $50 more, you get a Crucible or an Endeavour, which are going to grow and balloon and be significantly.
Good Lord!
You can get 2 Retaliator bases for that.
Yep.
You can get a Retaliator for Retaliator bomber or an Eclipse for $300, and they're all bad value because there's just so much cheaper things you can get.
You could also get like a whole game console.
Yes, absolutely. You could go outside and you could go on a holiday. You could get computer hardware before you buy ships, man. Make sure you've got a PC that can play this thing. That's one of the things I keep coming back to all the time. Like, if you've spent $5,000, and we've run into people like that. It's like, I finally got a PC that can play Star Citizen. It's like, how much did you spend again? Oh, $10,000. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, but make sure you've got a really top of the line computer, and then get a starter package. Don't go the other way. So yeah.
To go back to your question on what is a whale, I would have said 10 to 15K, because the original Wing Commander was 10K. The original Completionist was 15.
I will say though, I can't remember with space a little bit there. You kind of said it's kind of like fluid. It is changing over time because the game is still expanding. So is that what you're trying to get at, Space? I think that was what you were trying to get at, and I kind of agree with you if that is where you were going.
When I was talking about the difference between 10 and 1 year?
When you were talking about whales, I think you were kind of saying like the stance of whales is changing as the game grows.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, I don't know if it's subjective, but I'm just thinking like, if you just jumped into this game, you might consider a whale somebody who spent $2,000 or $200, you know. Yeah. And then you learn that, oh, there's a concierge at 1,000. Well, $1,000, absolutely, that's a whale. Absolutely. Yeah. But then you have people who spent 2,000 who would be like, oh, you got to spend 10K to be a whale. So it's like, it's weird.
You remember what you and I were talking about last night, Algared? When it came to the idea of how ships were made in this game, I think that'd be a really good video for Space. We should talk to him very briefly when we finish stream about that. We've got an idea for a video for you. Might be cool for you to explore, because it's more your wheelhouse than ours. So we'll put it to you. You can shoot it down flames. It's fine. Right.
Or join us and do it with us. We don't mind.
Oh, whatever.
We'd love
I don't think Space has people on his other channel. I don't know. You don't do other people. Have we even seen Mrs. Tomato on your channel yet?
No.
Well, there you go.
I think we've done a couple streams together. Me and Mrs. Tomato, we do our Wednesday streams together, but no, not really.
I want to see a video, like some kind of goal that people can work towards, and it's just a video by Mrs. Tomato. So she just takes over your job for a day or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah, man. I always ask, please do, and Kat does too. They're like, hey, maybe this could be just Mrs. Tomato stream.
Yeah. All right.
Out of a job.
That's okay.
She goes off at me. No, I am like, so every time we do a podcast, I'm always giving her flack because I know she's editing it, and then I start like begging for mercy, but it never makes it into the final video. She edits it all out, so she must hate me because I just make work for her. But anyway, right. Anyway, next question. North End Trooper. The Spirit series is the first medium ship in a long time. What was the last medium ship that is in the medium ships to have variants built at the same time? I think the last one would be the Apollo, wouldn't it, Algared? Officially speaking. Or are you talking about in-game North End Trooper? That's different again.
And I wouldn't really even say the Apollo was really variant because it's just,
you
know, an extra gun. Or extra missile mount or something like that.
And not to mention if you chuck, as I said earlier today, like if you chuck the Zeus in there and we're getting 2 medium ships coming at Citizencon, that's essentially doubling the generals. So you've gone Freelancer, Cutlass, and now you're adding Zeus and Spirit. That is starting to fill out that lineup a lot better. It's the weakest line we have at the medium range.
Yeah, and I was going to say, even if you get 2, even if you get the Zeus and the
Spirit,
the Spirit series, there's still a dearth of ships in that medium range. There's still plenty of room for growth. So
Mole? No, wait, Mole lands on a small shit. It's not a Mole. Damn, I'd have to. Man, that's really got me thinking. I'd have to think about it. Oh, hey Pete, how you doing? Do you know Pisspole Pete? Space Mono?
Yes, rated a couple times.
You have to get him on. You have to get him on a podcast. He's actually quite a good fellow, but he doesn't like to use his brain. But then you talk to him and things go places. Like last night, I was on his last night, the night before. I was on his stream and we started having this argument about exclusivity and skins and stuff. And we ended up agreeing to disagree, and we posted it into the Spectrum. And
oh boy.
And we're gonna see what the answer. I don't think we're gonna answer. But like it's one of those things. Like there's just so many things out there that they need to be answered. And you know how we were talking about length of time and different like things. That was one of the things, because I remember things from way back at the beginning, and he's like, well, I've remembered this that counteracts that, and I don't remember those things. So again, this game is so big now that I don't think any of us can hold it all in our head. It's just too big.
Yeah, get in chat every once in a while. I see Pete hop in.
Mm-hmm.
And Clifford Wachtdemont says the Raft is also a medium ship, I believe they're saying. So
Raft, there you go. Yeah, that'll be up there.
But it still feels like there's a dearth of ships in that size category. So,
but we didn't have enough generalists. Like you go up to, you got an MSR, a Corsair, a Connie, a 400i, and you could even check the 600i in there too. So there's a girth of generalists, but there's no. Well, actually, now I think about it, that means there's no. Am I putting my foot in it? But there's no medium origin ship.
There's no medium origin ship.
Ooh.
That would make it. I would considered large.
Well, it is. Well, it is a large, by the way. It's the features of a medium, but in a large thing. And I can pull it out on a ship hanger and show you. It does not fit on a medium pad.
it's kind of weird then that they made that and didn't make the 400i smaller towards the 300i, since the 600 is that much.
We've always assumed it's based on number, is based on size, but what if the 200 is a medium?
Yeah.
So it's actually bigger than the 300 series. Go ahead, Algared.
Thank you, Tyrus Rex, for that $5 super chat. And it's just hashtag follow.
Tyrus.
Thank you, Tyrus.
Yeah, thank you, Tyrus. That's one coffee for one of us.
Never required, but always appreciated. Thank you.
Indeed.
All right. You've thrown me there from the question. What was it?
Variance.
Yeah, variance.
Yeah.
It is the variance question on the medium ships.
Yep.
And the next question was from Guy Im's Lounge, which was what we were just up to.
Yeah, go for it.
And that is your 890 jump bugged with regards to storing via the ASOP terminal? It's been like this for weeks now.
That'd be a dockable ship though, wouldn't it, Algared? So
it is a dockable ship.
It'd fall under the whole sea type problem. And that's just me thinking about it. I don't have an 890 jump.
I haven't taken mine out for a while, so I can't tell you.
Yeah. Which one of the 7 was it that you haven't taken out? I'm just guessing here, by the way. I've got no idea. I only have one.
I only have one.
What's it called, Algared? You've got a name for it. I know you too well. What's it called?
I can't remember, to be honest.
I can't remember. That's what it's officially called.
No, it's the Garn.
And that is named after a train in Australia, if I'm correct. Yes,
it is. The Garn.
Right.
GHAN. So, which is, and that train's named after the Afghan camels because they were introduced to Australia and used by the explorers. So,
all right. Adrelis Indominus says, question, will we see more about the Merchantman this weekend? I think highly unlikely. Space, I think, and Algared, I think you both agree with me on that. It's parked, yeah?
Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah. If I would imagine if we were hearing anything about a ship that's being built, unless they're doing a ship shapes kind of session, we'd see that more at IAE.
I think the only thing we'd probably hear is when they hope to pick it back up. I think that's the best you can hope for, and I don't think we'll hear that either, quite honestly.
After the GATAC.
Yeah.
They're going to say, those people need to keep training and getting better, so it'll be a while.
What'd they say? They said San Tokii and then onto the Raelian GATAC, and then yours. Yeah, and I'd agree with that. Makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, if you think about it, that means San Tokii, Raelian, they actually want to do a focus on Xi'an and the Xi'an tech and the Xi'an aesthetic, and that could also tie more into doing more MISC ships because of that real tie-in with the MISC and their development.
Well, they're definitely spinning up the ship teams, aren't they? How many ship teams, by your recollection, Space, are they up to now? Because I've lost count. It's either 3 or 4.
I don't know. I just kind of come to the conclusion that there's somewhere around 20 to 25 people working on them. Yeah,
it's definitely increased dramatically, though, especially in the last 12 months, you'd say, yeah? Well, I don't know. For example, that's why we're seeing the Polaris being worked on, because they're starting to work on the bigger ships because they've got more people to do so. Well, that's my
that's an interesting one. I didn't consider that their ship team might be increasing more than it was before. But that would be good. It would explain why there's so many ships right now.
Well, the last big thing we heard was the guy that worked on the Argo ship went to Montreal to start another ship team there. We also know there's another ship team spinning up at Frankfurt, but also, from what I remember, there's the smaller one at the Drake one, and you also have the one at Manchester, but apparently the one at Manchester is getting bigger because they're getting new offices.
And also had the thing in the monthly report where they were saying they're now finishing off stuff, so they're actually able to put stuff more back into the PU.
Yeah.
And Tyrus, thank you for coffee number 2 and coffee number 3.
Hey, I got coffee.
So
thanks, Tyrus.
I've got a shot. No, I don't even have a shot because geisha costs so much. But
geisha's like $25 a cup or something ridiculous, isn't it? He drinks. He's a coffee connoisseur, Space, if you didn't know, and he doesn't go cheap. What is it? Just give us a proper idea.
The geisha Esmeralda, a few years ago when it came out, they had a blend which was the Super Mario blend of that, and it was like they had such a limited batch that it was like $1,000 a kilo.
Oh my gosh!
Don't know about you, Space, but I can now see Algared going, it's me, I'm Marley.
He's got the coffee monocle, dude.
Yeah, the coffee monocle. Yes.
Old man Hurston grows coffee beans.
The Hurston blend. I can see that coming.
Blend. The Hurston blend. That's right.
All right, Space. Do you want to read us a question in that aromatic voice of yours? Do you know? I just want to know. I was saying before when you stepped away, how much Badgers misses your voice. Is he told you that recently?
When we were on the show before, you mentioned something.
Yeah. He's always like that. Oh, I just want him to read me a story.
Yeah, he just starts to drool.
He won't answer my calls.
I don't know. We'll send Honey after him. She'll fix him.
And before you do read that question, Jack Raven, $5. Saber Raven. What would you like to know about the Saber Raven, Jake?
Yeah, let us know, Jake, because that's very. You're just telling us it's cool. I think maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's cool. It is cool.
I've got one. I know you've got one too. So yeah. All right.
I think because we were talking maybe about ship value, why you'd buy a small ship or something like that. I don't know.
Rare ship.
Next question is: which size do you believe the RSA mining concept ship would be? Large or extra large?
Oh, let's ask Space first.
Space.
Medium, I thought. Right. It's supposed to be larger. Oh, larger than the mole. Right. Large.
Got it in one. It's a large.
Yep.
One mining ship in every category. You've got small, medium, large, and capital. The only one missing is the large, so therefore it has to be large. Process of elimination. And they said they will do that before they do double ups. So they want one ship in every category and one ship in every size before they do double ups. So eventually they'll come back to say something like a prospector and would get and I think you would agree with this, Space, just like in real life, we are more likely to get more double ups of small things than of large things. So we'll probably get one capital from each manufacturer, but we're very unlikely to get two. Might be a few outside that, but I think it'll be pretty rare.
That's why it's crazy how many big RSI ships we have.
Yeah. So Jake has come back. He said gold pass for Raven.
Yeah, eventually.
And look,
someday
eventually every ship will get a gold pass. Every ship will be raised up to standard, and the ships that come out later are closer to the premium setup. I would expect them to do a gold pass for the Raven when they do gold pass for all the Sabres.
Yep. And EMPs and stuff like that as well.
EMPs. But the Raven is a very unique ship, and I would not be surprised to see a ship similar to the Raven down the track. It is an Inforunner.
Yep.
People forget that. The Raven is actually an Inforunner.
Really? It's not Ewar?
No, well, it's got EMPs on it. It's got 2 EMPs, in fact, but it also has data running capabilities.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Because
cool. It works out very well.
Remember, it is the ship that came out with the
Intel drive.
The SSD drive.
Yep.
And so part of it is its safe delivery, safe, fast delivery. That's its whole mode of ship.
It's almost like the Keanu Reeves movies where he has to put the memory in his head. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's a really old movie now. It's gone back to like the 80s or something. But he used to have like a USB stick in their head and they'd transfer information.
Oh, yes. And he's a courier, kind of.
Phantom LGB, thank you for the tier 1 subscription. I appreciate it.
Luminaria. And Luminaria, thank you for another coffee.
All right, well, that episode's back a week now.
Yep.
You did it again, Luminaria. Yep. Gonna have to put it back in the back burner. He's the person we were talking about before, Space. He keeps wanting us to do this episode, and we just keep knocking it back down the road.
Well, actually, the reason it keeps getting knocked down the road is just timing at the moment. It's not.
We just have this period is our busy time of year, and Space. I assume it's busy for you too, yeah.
That's how it is. Yeah, you're scheduling out things based on what's going on.
And for me, it's also not only busy time of year here, but it's also busy time at school. So
he's marking all this stuff. But yeah, we won't get a breather until after AIE essentially. So mid-December, yeah. Oh, actually no. Then you got the holiday type of stuff that they drop in the last patch for the year. That's usually just before Christmas. So it's
until December.
It's essentially Christmas Eve is where I start to take it easy, and then it goes dead quiet in January, and that's when me and Algared go, oh, what's all those episodes we were meant to do? And we go back to this. We keep a list of them, and we'll go back and we'll knock them all off.
Yeah, usually in January is when we do our catch up. And yes, Division, I have said numerous times I struggle with Luna Maria's name. Or Luna Maria's name, however you want to say it, but I struggle with it all the time.
What were you saying before?
Luminaria is one of them. Luna Maria.
Her, by the way.
Yeah, her.
I don't know if it's a her or a she or what. I'm just going to call them Luna.
Confirmed.
Simple. Australian slang would drop that to Luna.
Yep.
Would we
it
not?
Is
yeah.
Luna Mario, I do believe, has told us that she is it Japan?
I think it was Japan. Yeah. Japanese.
I
that shows you the game's grown.
Gosh, I do want to visit Japan. Gosh,
I'm just surprised
that's somewhere that we wanted to visit soon.
Johnny,
surprised how much it's expanded into the Asian territories so quickly.
Johnny Mnemonic is who Rooster was saying you're referring to.
Oh yes, that is Johnny Mnemonic. Yep, that's the one.
Cyberpunk classic.
Yes. Maybe that's why they got him and put him in Cyberpunk.
I imagine it's probably is true. It would make sense. The second you said Cyberpunk Classic, I'm thinking, yep, that's why he was in Cyberpunk 2077.
All right, Algared,
anyway,
you do the next one.
Next question. Axis 0096. Which size? Just done that one.
Yep.
It's going to be a large ship. Jodomo.
You forgot to tick the box. Space. You got to tick the box. That's fine. Hey, look, I don't get a chance to go off at space very often. I'm going to take it. Yeah. Right.
Ticked.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now tick twice.
It's ticked twice.
Jodomo has a question. What do you think the price point will be for the 3 cutter variants, and do you think the fuel tank capacity for each will be?
So that was another thing that came out of that speculation today, Algared, is that what if the variant that's for the Reclaimer is also designed for sucking the fuel out of them? Because we know that's a thing, right? So that's probably why it had ridiculously large fuel tanks when it first went in game. And there is this obscenely large fuel nozzle on the front of it too, which don't make sense for a ship of its size. There are things along the side of it that almost look like really large fuel tanks, way larger than it needs to be. It makes a lot of sense. If you are stripping the interior of a ship and you know that you've also got to take the fuel out of it.
And we know that is a thing that CIG have talked about, that you need to empty a ship of its ammunition and fuel because you don't want to crunch it because it'll go boom.
Would you agree with that, Space? Just from your...
What ship is this referring to?
So we're theorizing, right? And I'd have to go through it all again. So I'm just going to paraphrase it. But based on what they've told us, they have said... Would you agree with that? They've said that you need to remove fuel from a ship that you're salvaging and ammo as well as the components. Would you agree with that? Yeah. So he agrees with us, right? So I'm not baiting you or anything. I'm just saying he agrees with us. I think that's the shortest answer we can get to.
The thing was that when the cutter came out, the cutter had this massive fuel tank, like it was bigger than anything else. And so Execute's just speculating that if there's a variant of the cutter that goes with the Reclaimer.
Remember what I sent you during the week?
Okay. I didn't know which you're talking about, the variant. So I know nothing about that other one. Are you talking about the Scout, or is
we're talking about the Expedition, but the actual question was, how much do we think the Expedition and Scout will cost?
Right.
In short. And we've just veered off as we do because
and the second part of the question, do you think the fuel tank capacity will be for each? And that's why Execute went.
Yeah, because I think the Expedition variant will be for, how it's got remove the components out of a ship so a Reclaimer can eat it. I think, you've also got to remove the fuel and ammo. And so it's got you go look at the front of that cutter. It's got a really big fuel port on it, way bigger than it needs to be for a tiny little ship that big. It's even got these big metal doors that close over it. Like, why is it so exaggerated? Yet other ships have tiny little fuel ports.
Yeah, and I could see that because you're going up to a fuel tank, you're linking up. You've got to have a big nozzle so you can actually link up to the big fuel caps of the big ships, but you also want it to be able to close down so you can do the small ships. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
The large fuel tank makes sense because where are you going to store the fuel that you're sucking out?
Exactly.
So yeah.
And I did say to you when it happened, I said, I wonder if that really large fuel amount on the cargo variant is because it's based on one of the other variants. I said it to Algared when it happened at the time, and because I was like, that's just a cargo ship. Why does it have such a huge cargo amount, fuel amount? And it's probably because they've just copy pasted and then forgot to turn it down before they released it.
That makes sense. So
anyway, price points. I would expect $5 to $10 difference between all of them. Basically based on where the Reclaimer's at, I wouldn't be surprised if the Expedition is like 50. and I probably would expect that the Scout could either be the same, or more or less. But basically, I'd expect $5 between the three. You know, $5 between one and $5 to the next. I think you'd agree with that, Algared, yeah? Roughly in that sub 100 amount.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the expedition variant is a variant that goes with reclaimer. You can expect the reclaimer price to go up.
Yep. But you'd agree with that, Space roughly under $100. They tend to go up about $5 each variant, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's pretty across the board, unanimous there, right? Next one,
Fuel capacity for each.
That I will leave up to when they come out, because one variant will need it, one variant won't. And they've all got different engine sizes as well.
Yep, and you've also got that whole, they will balance fuel capacity and distance that they can travel to what they want. And what we've got at the moment is going to change.
Yeah, like the Scout's got the fuel scoops on it, so it might have a smaller fuel can thing because it doesn't need it because it's got the scoops. So we'll see.
Yeah.
John Ski, regarding the Cutter Scout, what is there to scout? He's baiting you.
Yeah, he's baiting us.
I mean, you can answer that.
We have a theory of what it is. Let's hear your theory. Space, what do you think that's for? Wild speculation, go nuts.
Things people want. Things people want to find. Like, name an objective in game, and that would be what you're scouting, right? People who want Quantanium, somebody has to go find it.
Yep.
People who want to salvage big ships, somebody has to find it. People who want to find new caves.
And half of what you said is what we think it is. The other half is, did you notice, have you looked at that ship? Because I know you were trying to find, you saw it in game. I was there with you. You saw it in game, yeah?
Yeah, but I didn't look too closely.
So one of the things I'll tell you is the cargo bay area doesn't take cargo, or at least it takes less cargo, but it's actually the biggest of the three variants. The actual space is bigger, right? And you know that the old cargo variant can hold a mule, yeah? Did you know that? Now
I do.
Yep. Oh, you didn't? Well, okay. Well, the rock is physically thinner, but slightly longer than the mule. So if you make a variant where the cargo bay is slightly bigger, you can put a mule in the back. Oh, a rock in the back, sorry.
Or slightly longer, you can
put
It's slightly longer, you can put a rock in it. So now combined a rock with your scanning terrapin, and now tell me, what does it do?
It's a miner.
It's the start of the mining profession, because you can go out, and while you're finding things for the others to mine, you might also find mineable nodes for a vehicle. So while they're doing there, you can go back and do yours, and then you go back and join the others later.
That's what ties in with finding caves, because what do you do in caves? You find minables to hand mine. But you could also use it for finding ships to salvage, or asteroids, or jump points, or whatever else. But
and just as a thought process, remember how they had the Pisces and a lot of people using it for bunker missions, and then they brought out the medical Pisces? We think it's where this one come from is the Nomad. Remember how everyone was carrying rocks on the back of the Nomad when it first came out? So that's where we think this one came from. I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, but I think in general, the idea of scouting is going ahead of the group. Like, that's the idea of scout, right? A scout is somebody who goes ahead of the group and finds the things the group needs. If you have a group of people who's getting into 2 moles and you want to go and make the most of your mining time, you're going to send a scout ahead that can better travel, scan, and go around.
And to add ammo to what you're saying there, the prospector and the mole, they don't do hand minables, so to speak. So this has a niche that they don't have. So it works on every level you just mentioned. All right.
And we lost Algared.
It happens. We're used to. Oh, he's back. All right. Algared, next question before you lose you again.
Before we go on, the division is saying at Waffle Insanity, we're talking the ships. So Waffle Insanity said, no, live, a Carter Expedition 75, a Carter Scout 65. Division comes in and says, I think 55 and 65, and the Carter Red will be 75. I'm not sure what the Carter Red is.
There's not, I can't think of a single vehicle where there's a 10, I'm probably putting my foot in my mouth here, but I can't think of a single variant that jumps $10 like that under $100. They're all like $5 from my memory. I think the only one I can think of is like the Merlin, the Archimedes, 25-35. I can't think of anything else. All the Cyclone variants are $5. The links to Ursa's $5. All the Mustangs are $5.
Waffle and Sanity came back and said the Cutter Steel, 175. that would probably be the only ship that I can think of that's got that big jump. But
I'm saying, sub 100 though.
The Cutlass getting that massive jump above the other module variant because it's a disgusting steel.
Yeah. All right. Again, wait and see. It's like trying to guess lotto tickets. Like there's just no way we can tell until they land. We can give you our best guess. That's it.
I suppose they're going C8X 45, C8R 65.
True.
That's 20.
Yep. But you've also they're forgetting the Expedition. So I guess that is $10. Yeah. I'll give them that one. Pisces is the exception, not the rule. Yep. I'll give them that. Totally possible.
And the C8, I don't think you can actually buy in game because it's kind of the one that comes straight with the.
Interesting.
This is why I don't talk about ship prices.
Again, it's all speculation, but generally they're $5, not 10. Generally speaking, right? Again, it's up to CIG. Some years they're really aggressive and they overprice things, and other years they're really conservative. So again, with inflation, I reckon they're probably more likely to be conservative this year. But we'll see. 5 to 10. I think you've got your answer. Whoever asked the question. Sorry, I forgot who asked. Yeah. 5 to 10. 5 to 10.
So Dave Watson has a question. Their question is: with the new Cutter Scout, can we expect a Drake subcapital ship like the Galaxy or Carrack? I hope not.
So he's basically talking a Polaris, aka Corvette, from Drake Space. What are your thoughts on that? I think that is a high certainty. Yeah, one in every category.
I don't think we'll see it anytime soon. If it's going to happen,
eventually, eventually, and it could be 10 years from now.
Something to fit in between the Cat and the Kraken.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's very possible.
I
Big gap
is the one that fills that gap, but
you think the Caterpillar is the one that hooks that gap? That's a $330 to $1,650 price point.
And when all the modules come in,
it'll probably go up. I'll give you that. Let's say it goes to $600. That's still a big gap. That's almost doubling the price of that ship. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I'd expect to see one.
But then
more Corvettes.
I've got to put the caveat in there. I'm not a Drake fanboy.
Yeah. So I'm not an Origin fanboy, but I'm still thinking we're going to see more Origin ships. Like that's how it is.
Yeah. I think when you look at a company that's supposed to cut corners, I can't see the cutting corners and reducing the components on the ships and all the rest of it works for large and capital ships. It
it does with the Kraken.
Well,
so and what's to say it's a capital? Why can't it be an industrial ship? Let's be honest. There is not a lot of industrial ships from Drake. That thing was swung way out to 45-degree angle.
And if they were doing a subcapital, I could see it being a salvage ship. Because that fits in their wheelhouse. And even if you're looking at them being pirates, the chop shop, that you're using to chop up the ships that you've stolen, what is that effectively? A salvage ship. So even if you're going that full pirate mode for Drake, a salvage ship makes sense.
We could definitely see, like, maybe there's some professions that we don't. Well, put it this way. Let's look at this. Agriculture. The only agriculture ship we have in game right now is the Endeavor. Now, I could totally see rootin' tootin' Drake agricultural ship. I could see that. It's the Dairy Farmer's Delight, 5,000 or whatever you want to call it, and that could be a Corvette size ship, but it's a farm ship.
You make good Mary Jane.
No, but I'm just saying, like you just don't know where they're going to take this shit. Like it's the imagination of the entire design team and Chris Roberts. They can take it wherever they want to go, and I think eventually you'll see essentially every size of ship, at least one from every manufacturer. Like I don't know, Space. Would you just expect to see one ship of every size from each manufacturer eventually?
I think that's going to be a little inconsistent, honestly. I think some ships we'll have more stuff going on. Like people say, like, oh, we won't get that ship. They already have a ship like that. There's so many ships that fit into certain fighter ranges.
Yep.
You know, we have multiple ships that take the place of like a 4-wheel ground vehicle. They all have little differences, but technically their roles are kind of filled. And I think we'll see the same. We'll see small to medium sized cargo ships that have crossover with the Freelancer, Spirit, and Cutlass that you could say, oh, we don't need that. We've already got those. They'll be repeated. And I think that won't be consistent across everything. It'll probably happen more for general purpose ships. But
what you're describing is that whole top down thing. So because larger things take longer to make, just like in real life, there'll be more cross pollination at the bottom and then less as you go up, essentially. Yeah. So you'd imagine capitals are like really quite niche at what they do. Like, so right now there's a little bit of crossover between the Kraken and the Idris, but they are enough different that they are separated, right? So every man
that's based off the idea smaller ships are more popular. I think it'll skew more towards what's more popularly used.
I also think it's just because it takes longer to make big ships, but I also think it's like real life. You know, like we don't see many rockets because they cost billions to make, but then, you know, motorbikes and tricycles and scooters we see abundance of because they're cheaper and easy to produce by comparison. And I think it's the same with ships. Like it takes, like we can get one person to make a fighter in Star Citizen, but it literally takes an entire team to make a capital. So yeah. Anyway, right, Algared, do you want to add to that, or we put you to sleep?
No. John Ski. Question: cut a dropship team insertion with 3 rows of jump seats and paint it chrome.
You're cruising for a bruising from Algared there, I think.
Yeah. Gliding for a hiding.
Did you get that out space, or was it over your head?
Over my head.
So he was
explaining like CCUs.
He was essentially explaining the Cutlass steel. Algared hates the Cutlass steel.
Oh.
Biggest abomination.
Yeah.
Is. Yeah. Don't get me started.
It's an interesting ship.
It's worse than me ranting about the Odyssey. So there you go.
Yeah. Certain triggers for Algared, and people like to press those buttons.
Yeah. Derek Masters, can you give me some hope that we will see that we'll get a scanning update at Citizens for Cutter Scout?
I think that might be a part of it, but I wish Space was here for this, but we'll ask him when he comes back. But me and him, since the beginning of the year, are saying star map. We want to see the damn star map.
Second part of their comment was, or question, so that's the first part. The second part of their question, which kind of preempts it, says, for Cutter Scout and Yogi saying we will see scanning changes soon on Spectrum is making me think, maybe?
Yeah, I could get behind that. Space, what do you think about seeing scanning at Citizencon? And I was talking about the star map. I know you're as keen as I am for that.
I'm not even going to entertain the possibility of a scanning update for ships. I'm tired of doing that, to be honest. It's one of the more annoying parts of the game, in my opinion. I put out a big video back when they did the scanning rework. I think it was a year and a half, maybe 2.5 years ago. And I was so pumped. I was so positive about it. And I was like, yeah, potential game changer on the thumbnail and all this stuff. And then it came out and it was just I mean, it was like, yeah, it helped the game and it's better, but you guys see where we are right now. That's what we've had for some time. And it's just disappointing for a game that has so much going on. Derelicts, caves, rivers, mountaintops, cliff sides, all this stuff that's really cool, and we can't detect it at all. So I get annoyed when I think about scanning, and I'd love to think that they might be doing something with ships, but they're focused on FPS scanning right now, and I think we'll see that instead. So maybe we'll get an overall update with them, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
And I doubt anyone wants a cilantro-scented terror.
Oh, God. Who's following me with cilantro? Get out of here, these people.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
You would...
Jesus. Jesus.
You're a big fan of the Terrapan, actually, aren't you? I think you're more like that. What was it? The search and rescue?
A cilantro-scented one? No.
Was it the search and rescue variant that appeared in the Jax McCleary ad, Algared, from memory?
I do believe so. And there is a in law, it's a search and rescue version. But in law, the Marines like it.
And the
Marines
dropship
use
one?
it as a dropship. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't mind see. I know you'd be a fan of that space because I've heard you talk about that at length. But yeah, I think you might get variants for the Terrapin. Absolutely. Again, I think it'll be when they come back around to Anvil again though, and that's the same thing. We answered a question last week about the Liberator and the Crucible. There's just not enough big ships for them to work up those at parallel at the moment compared to RSI, where there's an absolute abundance. So yeah, I think this year's AIA will be somehow. I'm expecting Orange, believe it or not, and RSI to be the kind of manufacturer there. But I could be wrong as shit, but that's what I'm expecting. Just to be different, because you look at the RSI logo, it's got a bit of orange and yellow in it, and they've never had orange, so that would be definitely a color they could lean into.
Yeah.
Then again, they might save that for Argo too. I just realized. So we'll see. Anyway,
cilantro. For those saying cilantro is good, cilantro tastes like garbage. It tastes like soap.
Just time them out of the chat. It's not important. Guys, I have limited time, so I will have to skedaddle in a little bit.
Yeah, we've got about 35 minutes left, but if you want to go, you go, mate.
Yep. I got about 5 to 10 minutes.
No, that's
all right.
We could. We've got it. We can just look. We can just do it at any time. We can just get rid of you. Look, there you go. You're gone. And there you are. You're back.
No, I'm just a floating person.
Voice in the void.
Yes.
Which for some people would be very awesome because
if I turn around like this, it kind of looks like that's my butt.
What?
What?
I don't know. There's no butt there. I don't get it. But you mean the person? Right, the person below is the butt. I'm like, wait, I can't see a butt. And then I've just clicked it. Yeah, now I'm
turned around. Yeah,
I'm with you now. Right.
All right.
Okay.
Do you want to take the next couple of questions? See if we can fast track a few of these.
Sure. Let's go. Fire round.
Yep. You read them. We'll answer them.
Okay, I'm off. There we go. Can you give me some hope that we will get scanning at Citizencon? Oh, somebody didn't take the check.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was doing it to make you feel more comfortable.
So good.
Let's see. Eminent Shadow asked, God, that's such a bad. I'm so sorry, I misread that. Will double dogs be served at Citizencon?
Buster the Destroyer was talking about this yesterday. She's very disappointed they're not doing them. She's got the menu, and they're not doing them, apparently.
Are there no hot dogs?
No hot dogs. No hot dogs.
At least there's noodles.
Yep.
All right.
Next.
No double dogs. Next up. Wait, hold on. Jesus, it keeps resetting where I am.
I hate that too.
Next up, Luna Maria asked, are you two streaming during Citizencon?
Yes.
He will be, and I will be, and Algared may or may not join me depending on his timing. So yeah.
All right. Next question.
I was just gonna say I'll be starting 3 hours beforehand. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
6 a.m. 6 a.m. LA time. Yeah,
wow. Yeah, that's early. This is either Can in American or John in Turkish. Question, if they hadn't done anything for the 10th anniversary, would that have been worse than dropping the F8C as a special 10th anniversary event? So if they hadn't done anything, would it have been worse than what they did?
I think they could have done multiple things. They could have released a skin that worked on every ship, like a ship camo or something like that. That's just what they chose to do. That's what it was, the 10-year anniversary. So they decided, but like again, that ship's been ready for 5 years. Why wasn't it released at the 5th anniversary? Why was it released at the 10th?
Oh my God, because that would have just dominated everything at 5 years. At least now we have more ships.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen the Vandal Scythe as the ship.
That's one of the things we talked about. Space was, instead of doing that, they could have just sold the Vandal Scythe from Asperia this time around, because it's already been sold before. So, we'll see. Maybe that's the 20th anniversary. You'll just have to wait and see, or die, It depends how old you get. But yeah. Anyway. By the way, Can is one of our mods, by the way, Space, on the Discord. That's who that's from.
Hi, Can.
Yeah. Right. Division.
Next
question. Space. Do you want to go that, or do you want me to do it?
I'll put.
No, I can. Oh, somebody took my tick mark.
Oh, you'll tick it for him, will you? Good on you. Yeah. Tick wars.
Next question from Division. Cutter's QT is nearly 2K after the quote-unquote nerf, which seems high for its class. Do you think Do you think this may indicate a rebalance of other ships' QT fuel and possible buff across the board for Pyro?
I think again it comes into that fuel thing. I think that the cutter just naturally has bigger fuel tanks because, as I've said to a few, like I've done my tinfoil hat theory probably 3 times on this stream, but I've probably done it 20 times off stream to other people. If that thing is what I think it is, to essentially take the components and that out of the out so the reclaimer can munch it, it would have to have bigger fuel tanks. And if that is the original variant, if you go way back to when the reclaimer was concepted, the cutter was there at the beginning. It was called the cutter all the way back then. So this was the original variant, and they've just spun the cargo variant and the scout out of that. And remember, when the cargo came out last year, the expedition was leaked all the way back then, right? So I think the expedition was the original intent of this ship, and they've gone, it needs this, 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 and this. And so there would be carryover from that to the other variants. So it just happens to have extra fuel on all the variants. I'm sorry, short.
It would certainly make a law version, a law reason.
Yeah. And I'm sure, Algared, you'll go into that when that thing comes out. Yeah, you and Paul? Interesting to see. Like, it's all theory. None of this is proven. I'm a crazy lunatic. Don't take what I say at face value.
All we do know for the reclaimer is that it has a snub ship or a consort ship or whatever you want to call it.
They call it a they call it. I'll get you the exact wording because I did send it to Space during the week. Hang on.
Had a
pocket spacecraft is the exact wording. Pocket spacecraft. And I would say that was back in 2013. I would now call that a snub, wouldn't you, gentlemen? A pocket spacecraft is a snub? Yeah. Because they also use the word artifact, and I would replace artifact with components. Because unless you're Paul, you're not going looking for artifacts, are you? So, anyway.
Yeah, so that's all we can say. For definite, it had a pocket spacecraft that is the same as the 85X, it's the same as the C8X, it's the same, it's the same as the P52 effectively. That was the idea. They were all going to be snubs.
It does make it the biggest snub though that we have. Because the Pisces is a thing.
But after they made the Pisces and the C8X and they gave them quantum drive and jump drive, that put all snubs into that possibility.
Absolutely, because Algared is correct. The Pisces was not meant to have quantum drive.
Well, neither was the C8X.
Yeah. They were meant to be just. Can you imagine how long that would take?
Yeah.
Look at say right now, like you get an MPUV, and can you imagine how long it would take you to get across?
And then you look at the armaments on the C8X, and you compare it to the armaments on a cutter, and you go, they're basically the same. And then you look at the SCU capacity, and they're very similar. So even though the cutter might be larger, in terms of what it can do, it's very, very close to what the C8X does. And so you go, okay, it fits.
And it's
all we know.
It's a lot cheaper than 85X, isn't it? What's the price of the 85X? It's something like $75, isn't it, from me? I'd have to go double check. It's not a ship I look into too often, but
if I said 85X, then I meant C8X, not the the.
Let us know in chat if you know it off the top of your head. What's the price of the 85X or the X85 or whatever it's called? That piece of garbage that comes with the other bigger piece of garbage.
Oh,
yeah, that one.
Love that ship.
Yeah,
watch out.
Original Junk Works. Anyway,
right. The 85X, is that the one you like?
Yeah,
it looks nice. It is in
tiny little taxi, man. That's a tiny little passenger transport, orbital passenger transport.
Wouldn't you take
easy missions?
Wouldn't you take the M50? Oh, I guess you want the 2-seater stuff.
85X.
Yeah, I'll take the M50.
$50.
$50. There we go. Cool. So still, cutter's $5 cheaper.
The only other competitor to do something like that in that size range would be a Pisces.
Yeah, and the Pisces, straight Pisces C8X is $45.
Yeah, but also the cutter's $45. So technically, they're both cheap. Well, the cutter can be $45 when it's on special. So
and the cutter is $45 at a standalone. No, the standalone price for the cutter is $45, but the cutter at $45 with a starter pack and a skin, that is a bargain.
Yeah. So you're getting wife aggro, I assume, Mr. Space.
We got stuff to do. Yeah.
Yeah. No worries, mate.
Like I said, we're leaving in the morning for Citizencon, so last prep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pleasure catching up with you, man. I will text you that idea we had for the show, or I'll catch up with you soon and we'll tell you about it because I think it'll make a good video for you to do. Anyway.
Sounds good.
All right, man. You take care.
All right, y'all.
Great seeing you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Always a pleasure. See you later, everybody. Have a good one. Like and subscribe.
Thank you. Like and subscribe. Right. All right. Have a good one. And enjoy Citizencon too, buddy. Thank you. Bye. Right. Next one, Algared.
The void was
Space Tomato.
All right. So the next question, we'll try and get through a few more of these a bit quicker now. Super Shaved has a question. Will non-exclusivity of skins, items, etc. affect applying unique ship names to personal ships, assuming we will be able to name our ships?
Yeah, so I'd be way more worried about a unique name than I would be about a unique skin at the end of the day. And I think that's the biggest thing they've done that I don't like. They want us to have unique serial numbers rather than unique names, and I think that's just kind of a bit weird to me. It leads back to what Paul says about your what do you call it? Your journey and your choices. Well, it's not my choice if I've got to call it Fluffy Duck 75294 when I can't just use Fluffy Duck. You know, like go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think if we've got the unique serial numbers, we shouldn't need to have unique names. We should be able to name our ships as we want, as long as they are at least not offensive.
So Waffle Insanity asks a question there. It says, do we know if all ships have jump drives? He's just asked us in the YouTube chat. And that's one of the things we're not quite sure of, because you've got quantum drives and you've got jump drives, right? And one of the things I picked up in the long haul video that they did recently is you'll notice that the two Tanners, not Tanners, sorry, the Reliance follow the Hull C, but as soon as they get to the jump gate, they break off because they probably don't have jump drives and can't go through the gate.
Yeah.
So it essentially gives a lot of credence straight away to a Liberator or a Kraken, because the only way you're going to get those smaller ships through a jump gate is a ride on a Kraken or a Liberator.
And you know, even if they do, it could have been if they were hired escorts, they were only employed to take them safely to the jump point. So there is that as well. But I tend to think there's a variant for that, an idea for that. I always got the idea that carrier-borne ships like fighters or ships that did not have a bed facility in them would not have a jump drive.
I think we can safely assume when the first jump point goes in, every damn ship under the sun can go through it, and it'll be a little bit like medical beds, right? As they turn them off as other ships became available. So now we're up to, I think the Carrack and that can respawn right now in an M2, but as soon as the Apollo drops and it's got tier 1 beds, then goodbye Carrack and 600 Iron, all that type of stuff. It'll be the same thing. And I reckon
like the Red, you can be able to do it, but now it can't.
So I'd assume as like the Liberator comes online or the Kraken comes online, you'll have to get one of those to take you. Man, that is going to be a sad day for slap in the face for some people when they realize their ship cannot get through a jump point.
Yeah.
if that is how they intend to go, but this is just based on what they've said in the past. And again, all subject to change, but right now that was always an intent, that certain ships can only do certain things.
And that is why you see early art of Hull C's, D's and E's with, ships in containers.
Yep, absolutely.
I
forgot about the whole series. Yeah, absolutely. You're right there too, Algared. I forgot about that.
So we had the whole series with the literally open frame containers, and you saw ships just kind of stored in these containers. The only ships we know of for certain that do not have a jump drive or a quantum drive, for that matter, are the P-52, the P-72, and the MPUVs.
So Waffle makes another point there. He's talking about the size of the jump point. It's only a medium, so eventually larger ships won't be able to go through. He's absolutely correct. So initially everything can go through, no worries. But it's come from both sides. Do you have a jump drive? Is your ass too big? He's absolutely correct.
And the other question is, how are they what are they saying those are? Because at the moment we've got Idrises that can go through the Pyro jump point, unless those that are coming from I did see someone ask a question or raise a point. I've been always saying that the jump point to Pyro, where Xenothreat are coming from, you've got Idrises coming through their large ships or capital ships, and they would need a large jump point. And someone said, well, what if they're not coming from somewhere else? What if they're not coming from Pyro, but they're coming from a different jump point? And that's possible as well. But
absolutely. I'm just opening the star map real quick in the background. I am going to flick it over, but I got to go through all this bullshit as always. Yep. Okay, we're in. Right. I'll just make sure we flicked over. Oh, I can actually flick you back now because.
Yep. And Mark Jensen says new career path, the ferryman. Don't pay the ferryman. Remember that.
Yep. That would be a really good carrier name, the ferryman. I still hold out hope that they'll modify the Liberator so it can do all ships or all vehicles. I actually had an idea, Algared. What if the deck? Oh no, I can't say what this is because it's an idea for an episode that I haven't shared with you yet. Shit, I need to write that down before I forget.
Yes, and I think a lot of the ships that are rated for, someone else is saying the Pisces says it can equip a jump drive, but it doesn't have one. And I think you'll see that with a lot of ships. And often when you go into ships, you'll see the component where the quantum drive is, and you see a little slot above it, and that little slot is where your, as I understand it, the attachment for the jump drive component clicks in.
You know the scanner variant that you and I often talked about. I actually think that one will come with a jump drive, but not a quantum drive.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, because then it can go through the jump point, but it also means that the Carrack has to pick which version of the Pisces it puts in there. I think that's kind of clever if you think about it.
I
keep hitting the wrong button. God damn it! I'm fat fingering today like crazy.
The problem with that though is, as I understand the way jump drives are, originally my understanding was they were two totally different things.
Now they're just a modified quantum drive, aren't they? Yeah.
But even in the lore, the first jump drive was a quantum drive that was damaged, but it was faulty.
Yeah.
And now you look in the ships and you see there's a slot above the quantum drives, which is where the kind of component goes in to
so everything we've just said could totally be thrown out the window too. So maybe you can take your Hornet and go straight through the jump point, and that'll always be a thing. We're just not sure because again, multiple things I've said along the way, and it has changed. So this just proves it goes both ways, and that's why there's so much debate over these things because so many different things have been said over the years, isn't there, Algared?
If ships have been given an update where you've got component spaces, what you can do is go and have a look where your quantum drive is on your ship. Does it have a slot above it where there's a space where something else can go? If it doesn't have that slot, it's not going to have a jump drive. That would be my take on that.
I would agree with you on that. It's a good take.
So yeah,
that's right. So star map, real quick. While we were jumping all over the place, as we tend to do. Right, so what we were doing the other day is we were turning on the... Where's Stanton? God damn it, I lost it already. Sol. We got Crowshaw, Damien, got Magnus. Magnus here, Stanton, there we go. So here's Stanton. I'll turn it into 2D because it makes it a little bit easier to see. And then as I turn on the gates, you can see there's a gate here there's no small... So there's Pyro right here. That's with the smalls turned on. It's a medium to there, right?
Yeah.
But what we were seeing when we were looking at this last time is just how far you've got to go around if you're a big ship. It kind of becomes crazy. Like there are some things that are not even connected. Like look, you can't get to these systems unless a large is turned on, right? But yeah.
So a lot of systems large is common, but for others that you can go really quickly, you can circumnavigate if you've got small loads or medium loads.
Yeah, so essentially all these ones that don't have them or don't have ones to them, you can get to, right? But it's all these ones that currently have the lines. Large ships can't go across there, so the large ships have to go right around. And like if I do this the opposite, it might be easier to understand, right? So that's with the smalls turned off, right? Look at Pyro to Killian, right? So small ships, it's 1, 2, 3 jumps, and then you got to go all the way around. Look at this one. This is nuts. It's massive. Like there's huge loops if you don't. So there are always going to be advantages for small ships. You're gonna have to ask yourself, am I better to take my whole sea and go all the way around, or am I better to like load it off to some whole A's and B's and just send them through the small jump point?
And the advantage with a whole sea is that when they condense themselves down, they can go through smaller jump points.
Yep. That's it.
So, yeah.
Cool.
All right. Squirrel says, I mean, I don't understand the question here at all. With Sitcon goodies being exclusive to Sitcon, what's there else to answer? So they're talking about where we're talking about exclusivity, and you pulled up the thing about the.
But that doesn't mean it's inclusive for all time, because the other thing is they reference time there as well. So it doesn't mean when the game goes live they don't go in. It doesn't mean like like again they can be worded one way and be taken two ways. That's why it's so thing. There is no definitive answer, and that's why we're kind of we're doing that post so we can hopefully get a more definitive. You know, if they answer it in one line, I'll be frustrated. I want like a paragraph that says we intend to do this. This is going to do this. For now, this will be this. This will be time exclusive. These types of things will be like this. I want a fully detailed thing so we can look back at it and go, right, this is this. It's probably going to be 5 years before you see this in the game, but you get some time exclusive. Or this will be exclusive for a week, a month, whatever.
Yep.
You know. So
Look,
yeah, clarification is what we're looking for. Yeah, Algared, yeah, clarification.
I could see you want clarification, but I think part of it is FOMO, and as horrible as it is, great for marketing because people will buy things because they're afraid of missing out. But I think at the bare minimum, if something is exclusive and it's not available on the store for everyone. If I take out my ship with its special skin, and you capture it, you've now got that skin. You can take that skin off that ship and do whatever. So
if that is the earnable in-game mechanic, and I have to kill you to get a copy of it, but once I've got a copy of it, I get it forever as well. That's earnable in-game.
Yep. And I could see that being the way to go. And the idea would be you've got the blueprint for the skin. You can now copy that skin.
Yeah.
That would be how I'd see it.
And if that's the way it's working, day one that it goes live, Algared's going out with his executive 8FC Hornet Lightning Executive Edition, and I'm killing the shit out of him. But we'll wait and see. Right.
And that's why I take my cutter.
Yeah.
And my Aurora.
All right. Next one, please, buddy.
Robert Case. Let's try and get through these because
we got about. I'll turn the bot off. We've got 15 minutes.
Yep.
So
We've got 15 minutes actually. According to my clock, we've got about 13 minutes. But yeah.
Yep.
So 13 minutes before we should log off.
Holy shit! There's no way we're getting Algared. Scroll down. Like, we're not even halfway through the questions. Holy shit. All right, boys, there's been a lot of questions. Wow. Okay, well.
Okay.
We're not going to get through them all. We're going to fire around, though, and just do as many as we can. Go nuts, Algared.
Robert Case, with the contract with Intel, will the contract with Intel ever end? Where the Raven will be available once again?
It's not called the Intel Saber Raven. There's no reason you can't in in-game, according to me. Right? But there are other people who argue the other. And I think you'd agree with me, Algared. Yeah, it's potentially earnable in-game.
I would expect there to be a variant of it, and it depends on what their contract was.
Yep, that's true.
So it did have the Intel coloring,
but it was not called Intel. It's called the Saber Raven.
Yep.
All right, next one.
But then it was the Mustang Amiga with just AMD labeling on it. So
it was actually called Accelerated Mass Driver. It was not called AMD. Yep. It's Accelerated Mass Driver. They made an in-law name for it. Anyway,
if you look at the labeling on the ship, it's not Accelerated Mass Driver. It's AMD as a labeling because they still use the logo, but the company is Accelerated.
It's not AMD's logo. It's a different font. Anyway, that's all right.
They're using the lettering, is what I'm saying.
Right. Next question.
But it's still Anyway, so we'll go on with that. Star Jump Grim. However, the opening of a hangar is still a question mark. A hangar is one thing, but the opening clearance is another. Thank you for the lack of context there. I'm assuming they're talking.
He was probably responding to somebody else.
And I think they were responding to discussions on the Odyssey of the Polaris.
Yeah, so notice how because he didn't actually put question in front of his question, he just put it in his question. So that's to someone else. All right, next one.
Yep.
Next one?
Next one is Argo is a clear...
Oh, there's a whole bunch of Willful Insanity, I'd say is the next one. Do you think the ships with tractor beams, Reliant Series, 350p, Nomad, Carter, Vulture, etc., will these ships increase in value after the increase of this feature? Potentially, but I doubt it. It's very clustered down there.
I think it's...
Never say never, though.
Yeah. If you bank on it going up and it doesn't, then you go woohoo.
Yeah,
if you bank on it not going up and it goes up, you go boohoo.
I always say play it safe. If you think it's going to go up, play it safe. But to me, that's not going to affect any of my chains. My chains are laid out, so yeah. It affects new people.
We'll leave that
one. Not really affect us.
I can't answer that one.
Yep. What did you say? You go on the next one.
So Rob, which do you think will come out first, Pyro or Squadron 42? Pyro.
Pyro, Squadron 42. Well, if they're putting playable in-game Pyro, it's really reliant on static server meshing. So it really depends where that learned. That was aimed for the end of the year. Will they get that? Yes or no? We don't know. But I'd have to say that we'd see Pyro first, just based on that. Would you agree with that?
Well, based on when I think Squadron 42 is coming out and from the monthly reports and stuff, I would say Pyro, because I'm from what I can hear and what I see on the program, it seems like they're talking Pyro. So
yep, I'd agree with you though.
And the floor is welcome to Pyro. So
yep. So yeah, we'll see.
Artemis TGM. The question is, do I have to play another copy of Squadron 42? Play on a PS5, or will it be included in my initial pledge pack in 2016?
You'll have to buy it for console, absolutely. When that does happen.
I just put my hand up and go, I don't know.
Yeah. Console peasants.
My thing is, why would you want to play on console?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play on the best hardware that money can buy for a game of that type of thing. That's me. PC all the way.
Although I do know, and that people do like playing consoles around, with their friends, and so I could see a reason for that. Where when you're playing PC, it's a bit harder. So yeah.
Yep.
Squirrel says, not Squirt, but Squirrel says, why do people think the jump point won't be working by a second system would? Why would we ever have needed static server meshing then? This really kills my brain.
So really where that question lies into is just how ready it's going to be at Citizencon. Can you go to Citizencon and fly through the jump point? I think they'll have, even if they've only got a bespoke server up and running so you can do it at Citizencon, yeah, absolutely. I think you'll be able to go through the jump point and fly from Stand to Pyro. That question becomes, can you do that on a live server? That's where it becomes complicated. Because people are like, do they have a version of static server meshing that they haven't told us about? Is it ready to go? It could be. And like Space said, or was it you that said it, Algared? They could just drop that at Citizencon and go, here you go, everyone. Jump points turned on, bang, enjoy.
Yep.
They could. They really, really could do that.
Yep.
But we don't know.
Got
a week to wait. Well, not even a week to wait. What is it? 1 day, 19 hours, 7 minutes, and 28.
So for you, it's 1 sleep.
Yeah.
If depending on whether I make it or not, it's 2 sleeps.
Yeah.
For Space Tomato, it may be less than that because he's
going tomorrow.
On time zones when he flies.
Actually, that's 2 sleeps for me, Algared, just so you know. That's 2 sleeps because I'm about to sleep soon, and then I'll sleep again.
All right. So it might be 1 sleep for me, and 2 sleeps for Execute.
Yeah.
So expect me to be a grumpy old beep.
Yeah. I hope you get a second one in there. Anyway, all right, come on, we're going to be doing these rapid fire. We're going too slow.
How does lifetime insurance work with Death of a Spaceman?
You die and you pass it on to your next of kin. Actually, when you create your character, they talked about looking into a mirror when you create your character, and then you walk outside, and then you go to like you're at the army or whatever, and you go, who we're going to leave your shit to? And you actually create your second character right there and then, and they have traits of yours because they're your next of kin. And so you could actually, they even talked about who you could marry. And so over time, you could actually genetically change from one race to another and stuff like that.
I can remember them talking that, with Death of a Spaceman, one day you'd wake up and when you left the room, you'd be basically not waking up. You'd be going to a funeral.
Yep.
It was that type of idea.
Gone to my dad's funeral. And I'm John Smith and I wake up Jane Smith and I'm going to my dad's funeral. And that's totally a thing, and that sounds awesome if you think about it, because it puts some real role play value in that shit. Yeah.
And that I remember was how they were talking Death of the Spaceman way back then. So eventually, go your life, go your life, go your life, go your life, and eventually you'd go to a grave.
Might be good to do an episode on that, Algared, and catch people up, because it's been a long time since they talked about that shit.
It'd be worth digging up that information.
Remember, because I'm going to forget. I got too much shit to remember that I got to tell you after this show as well. Right. Next question.
I'm just writing that note down.
Yes,
Death of the Spaceman funeral.
Yep.
That's done. So Tom Van Duren says, "Hi guys, what do you think if Star Citizen also get a hardcore mode? That would be exciting. Or exciting? Question mark.
Multiplayer game, not going to happen. It's a multiplayer game. Yeah,
I could see.
You want hardcore mode? Go do mercenary and don't buy insurance. Yeah, you die, you're dead.
Don't buy insurance.
Yeah, that's your hardcore mode.
Kill yourself so many times so you're on your last life.
There's your hardcore
mode.
And
then just do PvP. Don't do any PvE. Yep.
Right.
They'll either be very good or very dead. Krampeu says, why not do an in-game podcast where you're still just talking, but on an 890 jump touring the system?
Eventually, but the game's just not there, man. Like, we have so many in-game issues, it's not funny. I was playing with, I played with a lot of people this week, but I played with Arc VR. He did an in-game event, and I have not had it's like I go to do an event and the game just goes to shit. Like, I can be in game for 16 hours, have no problem, and then I go play that, and what it was I flew from Hurston to Port Tressler, and every time I went into a hangar, my ship just randomly exploded. In the end, I had to go get myself stowed by parking in front of the hangar and get it legally stowed to get to Port Tressler, because I just couldn't land there. It was stuffed.
If we were just doing touring the verse, just looking at different landmarks and just flying around to different landmarks and just enjoying the sights, yes, we could do that. Maybe.
But at some point we'd get distracted. Like, someone would have to fly somewhere or something, or someone would come and kill us. Or stream snipers. Like, I guarantee that would be a thing.
Yeah, people would do that. But then after how many weeks before we got bored? Flying, how many times would it take to fly to Hurston?
It'd be just like when we do, you know when we do the buyer's guides and I just like fly through space. That would be it. That would be all we ever do. I would just walk from A to B and then turn around and go A to B again and A to B again. And that would be it.
And then just scan around the ship as we're flying and talking. But yeah, so after a while it'd get boring. Anyway, next question.
There's a first-time chatter there called Stacy Betrain. Says, I've never played, but have been lurking on this game since day 12 of alpha. We're not in alpha, but I think you mean since the beginning, right? But have no idea if insurance is with in-game credits or real money. So you'll be able to purchase insurance in-game with in-game credits, but what they offer now is a thing called lifetime insurance, where if you can get lifetime insurance on one of your ships, you will never, ever lose it and never have to pay for insurance beyond the version you're given. As soon as that changes, you've got to possibly play in-game credits. They haven't worked out that yet.
There was a caveat to that, but Chris did mention once on a 10 for the chairman talking about insurance fraud, i.e.
yes,
just deliberately doing things that were.
I'm trying to give the short and simple answer, Algared. That's fine.
All right, but there were.
You are technically correct, but I'm trying to
lose it. But generally,
rapid fire.
You're safe. Yep. Would you give a refresher or update on how the AI blades and NPC hiring will work, especially in relation to operating multi-cruise ships by yourself, Mr. Lax?
AI turrets, would you say? AI for turrets?
AI blades, so the blades for turrets, NPCs, I would say NPCs for turrets. We can't tell you how many NPCs you'll be able to hire.
We've worked out a way in game that they can use the player rating system to basically essentially work out how AIs should function based on player averages, and basically they can fake most of what they do. Firing a turret they can't fake, shooting a gun they can't fake, but if you are just at a console doing something, they can sit there and fake it on a timeline. So if they get 1,000 people that are rated rank 3 player at refining, they get an average time. They can then say, well, this NPC does it in that average time.
You're paying the cost for a rank 3 engineer. That's how long it's going to take them to do something.
And they can even take the highest average of a rank 3 and the lowest, and then like roll the die and go, and yours is right here. So if it's between 3 to 5 minutes, they roll the dice and it's 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Bang.
But basically, AI blades will use up computer power. NPCs will chew up your
wallet.
Wallet and also life support. And that's basically all we can really say. We don't really know how it's going to work. We don't know how many AI we'll be able to put in a ship, or how many NPCs we'll be able to put into a ship, or how many NPCs we'll be able to control individually.
But we did an episode with Morphologist on it called I can't remember what it's called now. It was so long ago. It was about AI though, right? Yep. And I'm sure someone, Lemming, if you're still around, can you find that for us and link in the chat, please? But there is an episode on the channel with Morphologist that we did specifically about AI, and it changed the way he thought about it, and it changed the way we thought about it, and it's so damn pivotal for this game to work.
But it was also a lot of speculation with that, and still.
But the things that came out of it was like, if it doesn't work this way, it just won't work. And it's like there was all these realizations of these key things they've got to hit, and if they don't hit it, the game's just not going to work. And it's based on things they've said. There you go. Lemmings jumped in Twitch chat. I'll get it for you, Lemming, and I'll chuck it in YouTube. There we go. Cool. Right, next one, Algared, please.
I'll answer Luna Maria. The reason they're saying your name is Spanish because Luna is moon in Spanish, I believe, and Maria is name in Spanish. So I could understand why people would say the character, even though it's a Japanese anime character from Japanese anime, why people are saying the name sounds Spanish.
Are we up to Radadim? Is that what we're up to? When do you think CIG will implement ship modules, Retaliator, etc.?
When they're done.
When they're ready to put them in, and it will be after Squadron 42 because they're not taking for Squadron 42. Division, do you think Gold Standard is now basically final, or will you see more update? No, it's not final. That's just the current top of the crop standard. You'd agree with that, yeah?
Gold Standard is just putting things up to where they are at the moment.
Agreed.
And the F8C is not at Gold Standard.
Yep. Dawson says, question, do you think we will see a capital ship launch with Pyro? Algared?
I'm going to say no.
In-game Kraken is what I'm expecting. That's just the exterior, because we know the exterior has been done for a while. So I think it's the Kraken is the Idris from Stanton. Again, remember, it's just a skin. It's not the internals. Just the skin of the Kraken is what I would expect.
So you think we might see a Kraken taxi type service?
No, I'm thinking we like the Idris. You know where you go out and it's kill the Idris mission? It's go out and kill the freaking Kraken. And you might even see ships come off the deck and start attacking you.
Yeah. I think they're talking about, will we see a ship that's
concept? No, it'll be concept. If
there's a new capital ship, it'll be concept. But I'm not sure. Zero. Hi guys. What is the chances of CIG remaking the Connie to make it like the Galaxy?
No.
I personally like to have Connie as a daily driver, and it only needs 4 people, but I love the look of a Galaxy.
They will redo the Connie at some stage, but it just required. It was so you know how you got the planet mesh for AI. It was actually the very first ship they used for ship AI. So there are things on that ship they don't want to change until Squadron 42 is out, because it's clearly in Squadron 42 at some point.
And there are elements on the ship that they use for actually even mapping.
Yes.
NPC navigation, but and you can see that clearly on the Phoenix.
Yep. Radadim, when do you think CIG will implement ship modular? No, he asked that already. Goddamn. Division, how would be a great time for my Sticks Gideon says, do you think the Starfarer will be able to access its own refuel tanks when running low? Yes. They've talked about jerry canning, yeah, Algared?
Yep.
Right. Next question. Any chance that we'll see a cutter steel variant? Sorry, I'm just reading quicker than you, Algared. So yes, Sebastian said, any chance we'll see a cutter steel variant?
Yep. I hope not.
It was actually Agent Letty that came up with that idea, and I've just ran with it because I think it sounds awesome. The ability to have a really cheap boarding craft sounds amazing. All right. Lennis says, question, what...
Monster Avery.
Oh, sorry, Monster Avery? Shit. Oh, yeah, Monster Avery. With the sitcom talk on outposts living outside the UE, might we get some updates on the Pioneer or even the Argo MCV leak from before? Algared, I'll let you take that one.
I think we know there are outposts outside of UEE. We know that they intend to be us to be able to build them. I could not see why, as they open up more systems, we won't see more information on those.
What was it, Rastar? What was it called? The tech? The Rastar tech? So. Yeah. So that'll be eventually used for us, yeah.
The Pioneer is difficult because all that was originally the base building thing. It's now manufacturing kind of ship, and we have really no idea where they're going with it. So
yeah, but you can tell why they've moved to manufacturing, because it's such a big ship, and when you put it on the train, you can only build in flat areas, where if it's manufacturing, it allows you to build anywhere.
Pump out with it. it and build everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Gideon Sanders.
Yep, go for it.
Is Mr. Tomato either exited for Sitcon, excited for Sitcon, reserved for Sitcon, optimistic for Sitcon, D, just plain not excited about anything at all at Sitcon? Right. I think he's excited.
Well, let's ask him.
Yep.
Let us know. Okay, he's not saying anything.
He said he's not saying anything.
Yep.
So
We'll move on.
Reserved. Definitely reserved.
It's reserved. Yeah, good call. Right, Lena says, question, what's your strategy not to empty all your credit cards at sale? We tend to use credits and we tend to not buy ships that are smaller that are not needed. So, for example, say that Zeus comes out or the Spirit comes out. Generally, I don't get them and would recommend that you don't get them, especially if you've got something bigger. Again, if you've got a Connie, why would you want a Zeus? That's simple. Right. What are we up to next one, Algared? You can go next one.
Gideon Sanders, will you be doing a ship Christmas giveaway again this December? And if so, is it possible for me to donate a ship to the cause? We will, and yes.
Yes, there's a channel on the Discord called Ship Giveaway somewhere. Shit, where the hell is that? Shish, where is that? There's a channel called Ships for Giveaways or something like that. And I can already hear Lemming screaming at me. Tech Talk?
Underneath Tech Talk.
Shit, and I can't see Tech Talk. Oh, there is Startle?
Well, I've got it underneath Tech Talk.
Okay, so, I've got Startle underneath Tech Talk. But yeah, there's a channel there somewhere. If you want to know exactly where it is, ping Lemming, or one of the other mods, they will fill you in on where that is. But yes, we'll definitely be taking ships for the giveaway. So what he's referring to there is we did it in Invictus, and last year we also did it at AIE, where we went to CIG and said, we would like to give away some ships. For every ship we give away, would you do the same? And we'll ask them again this year. Whether they say yes or no, that's totally different things. Yeah, there it is, ships for giveaway. It just popped up. Yeah, so it's ship for giveaway on the channel, and you can just say, I would like to donate the ship for a giveaway. And basically we give them to people that basically are wanting to get a friend or a relative or someone they know into the game that just can't or doesn't want to get them in. But if they are like mega rich, please don't ask for people like that. If they are less fortunate, that's who we're trying to help. Those people that, you know, they want to get in. And I know it sounds a bit juxtaposition because you do need a fairly good PC to play this game, but there are some people at this time of year that are struggling, you know, the inflation and things like that. So there's things on the back burner. And it's just nice to give back a bit, yeah, Algared?
Yeah. My niece has actually seen, I bought, given my nephews starter packs. I may have to give my niece one. She seems more excited for this than
either of the chance.
Than my nephews. My nephew, so.
All right. Kayla Lau says, the ticking countdown. Are you going to marathon stream to the opening incident? God damn, no, we would be dead. But no, that's just to let you guys know. And I obviously been doing things in the background, like, I wonder if I can do it on this screen. No, I can't. No, I can't. I don't have it set up for this one. But I've been working on the art and stuff for Citizencon, essentially. So, yeah.
No, we'll start the stream at 3 hours before, so 6 a.m. instead of 9 a.m.
Let me just show them real quick.
Right.
So I've got this one set up, so it's like this. And then I had another one I was playing with, which was this. Which do you guys prefer, the dots or the rain? Let me know. Anyway, back to where Algared is.
Cool. Believe it or not, that was once upon a time stars, wasn't it?
It was gold, actually.
Gold,
the
gold
blue
streamers.
I could turn it off, actually. Make it go back to gold, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
So Division has a question. Carter quantum to fuel is now 2K. Seems very high for a class. Do you think that signals? I think we answered that before, talking about previous modules with that. Bad Hog, this Pyro demo at Sitcon. Do you guys feel or think that it will be the throw jump point from Stanton?
Yep.
Maybe in a Carrack or something. Anything's possible.
Well, I answered that, so I'll let you answer that one.
I think it's more likely. Yep. I think that's what they're aiming for. Certainly when they go live, that's certainly what they aim for. If they can't get the jump points working right and they do want us to go to Stanton, they'll just click it so it's on. But yeah.
Okay.
Kragan.
Yeah, go for it.
What would you expect from a Crusader medical ship? R1 Spirit would be a great medium competitor to the Cuddy Red, but would they go large or fill it or fill gap?
So again, as we've talked about when we speculate about certain things, is they may go close, but they will not tread, and that clearly treads, right? Where when I said that, like the example I gave about a Zeus bounty hunting, it goes close to the Cuddy Blue, but it doesn't because you've got like this carries a whole bunch of bounty hunting modules, but it's not this super gun heavy bounty hunting ship, right? But that means there is room for one that is in the same size class, and they would work together, right? You'd have advantages of one. Again, player choice. This is a thing they talk about quite heavily. So yeah.
Yeah, I have to get a different charger for that.
It's going flat on you. Don't you have USB? I have mine plugged into the USB. I don't even.
Yep, it is plugged into the USB.
So what?
The power draw is not good enough.
So me and Aaron both got these lights that work on batteries. And I just keep mine on a USB-C, and it never goes flat.
They're both plugged into USB-C, but that one's clearly not.
You might have it plugged into a USB 2 port, not as a USB 3.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'll have to see what I've got available. But
right, Kragon says no. That was the one we just did.
Clampow. Just answering.
Is that French? Clampow says as far as unimplemented Tier 0 professions mechanics, what order do you expect that they'll be released in? And I would say the ones that they get the most bang for their buck. So that's why you're seeing salvage and repair, because you're kind of getting 2 for 1. So yeah, it's where they can get the most out of what they're doing, right? And they would know their designs, and so basically they would be trying to get as most as possible for the littlest amount of work. And your guess is good as mine. Some of those I can predict some of them, but not all of them. And that's a very loaded question that would take at least half an hour to unpack. Astro Otter says, could we see a Drake bomber to compete with the A1 and other bombers? Absolutely. You can see anything, but like, how long is a piece of string? And right now, when you got the Gladiator, they're not trying to build direct competitors. So I'd say that'll be a down the line, wouldn't you, Algared?
And I'd rather see, before we get Drake bombers, I'd like to see the Gladiator get relove. I'd like to see the Retaliator get its ability to do bombing, because in law they're supposed to be able to do that. So
that's where I'm meant to go into a more things might have changed mentality, because back when that all happened, the scale of the project was a lot smaller. So now it's expanded. I think they've got more ships, but we'll wait and see. Yeah. I hope Algared's correct though, because it puts more values into those ships, obviously. What's Al's favorite Indonesian food? From Gideon Sanders.
Beef rendang. There you go. Anything spicy.
Ooh, so spicy meatball. Okay. Ezekiel, or as Hazel says, what about updates to stealth and missiles? The Saber needs love. It's supposed to be a stealth ship, but it doesn't play like one. Yeah, so that won't be until scanning comes in. Algared, do you agree with that? Yeah.
Yep. It's supposed to be a stealth ship. It's supposed to be a fast ship. It's supposed to be secure for data running.
And the Saber, not just the Saber Raven, but yeah.
Yep. So the Saber, but the Saber does need love. And
again, go look at the Retaliator. That thing's almost as big as a Saber from front on, right? So it's got like a lot of the Aegis ships have got these real stealthy things put into them. Apparently they're meant to have a stealth paint as well. I don't know if that's a lore thing, but yeah.
Or whether it's still going to be in. But when you look at the profile of the ships, even the Retaliator is a very, very small profile. So
yeah, from front on. And we know one of the scanning options is silhouette profile type thing. So yeah. Right.
So, I know people often say we're crazy when we say the Retaliator is a stealth ship.
Oh yeah, and a deception smuggler too. Raven P883 says, what do you think about the CO doing a medical size? So it means Consolidated Outland doing a medical size salvage ship to support the Pioneer. Can totally see that. Actually, I just realized Consolidated Outland is not on that list.
Nope.
On the graph. Absolutely. That could be a thing, yeah.
Kruger on that list? I don't think so.
Kruger wasn't on the list, no, but Consolidated Outland wasn't there either. But Consolidated Outland being that out there You know, look at the names: Nomad, Pioneer. It's on the fringes. It's the outer rim of Star Wars type of thing.
And
then
certainly would be a very good link up with a manufacturing production ship. So yeah.
So I would say they definitely in the industry, they're very similar to where Drake and Argo is, somewhere in there, right? So yeah, absolutely a possibility. I'd agree with that. Lady Space Patron, Lady Space Patrol, sorry, I stumbled there. Lady Space Patrol says, we've heard possible hairstyles shown at Sitcon. Do you anticipate these to be numerous? Do you think they will be fix the bald patch clipping on the existing ones? Algared, I'll leave that to you.
If they do, great. If they don't,
it'll come eventually.
Yeah, I usually do bald, so I don't care.
Yeah. I definitely want to see some more female options, just like I'd like to see some more male beards and things like that. They're all going to come. It just,
I do want beards.
Preferential order. Again, none of that stuff is really needed for Squadron 42 because they just bespokely build every character to look a certain way. And what I mean by that is, yes, they would use the current character creation system, but once a character looks a certain way, it doesn't change. So they could use that system, but they don't need to build a whole editor for it. They can do it behind the scenes. Right. Jock Cop says, for all the three of you as a content creators, are you planning to move your characters to Pyro for content creation over the first few months?
Oh, no.
I wouldn't be seen dead in Pyro. I'm going to go over and have a look. I know Space
I'll stick my nose in, but God, why would I want to live in Pyro?
Yeah, it's a testing thing. Like I want to see the different laws and stuff, you know. So we'll see. But do I expect it to be a lot harsher environment-wise? And I definitely think it's a place for pirates to shine. And I think we've needed something like that for a really long time. Because like right now they just get chucked into prison for doing anything, which just doesn't work.
Yeah, now they just get shot for doing anything.
But like it just shows you how long Pyro's been coming. They've been planning for this for so long. It just everything got knocked back. Like when they put things in that just didn't work and stuff like that.
Yeah,
what was it? iCache? Is that what it was called back then? That things didn't work, so they had to redo it a different way, and it's just taken so long to get it working.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately, that's the nature of game development. You make your plan. You say this is what this tech is going this way, and as it goes, you go, oh crap, it's not working. Okay, let's re-pivot. Try something else. So,
God, we've flown through these out. We've got 7 questions left. Done pretty well.
Although we are 15 minutes over.
Well, okay, that's I think we've done well. We just did that one, so up to space. The next one.
Space NTX. Now that the Hull C is in game and the price has increased to $150, can we expect similar increases in the price at the next sale for the Hull D and E?
I'd say on release, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but look.
Never say never.
Never say never. And I always take every sale as a ship's going to go up. Why do you think every sale we encourage you to buy an Endeavour or a Crucible?
Because we don't, when they eventually do go up, you're going to be the one left holding the bag type of thing. And it costs you $5-10 to secure them. So just secure the ones you want. Rather than go out and spend $100 on buying one ship, I think you're better off to almost go out and plan and buy all the CCUs that you need, if that's all you've got. Yeah.
We did an episode on the Endeavour a while ago. I dragged Execute Kicking and Screaming to do that episode because I said, we've got to do it because...
It was right after an AIE, by the way.
After an AIE, and we were expecting it was going to go up.
I was cooked. I was done. I'm like, you
we were both cooked, but it was...
Yeah.
And he went, you bastard, because he said it was right. Everything seemed to imply it was going up, and we're still shocked that it hasn't gone up.
And that's where I keep coming back to the most likely it's when they release.
Yeah, and then the Hull C comes out and it goes up by $150, and we're going, holy heck, what does that mean for those ships?
Well, it's by the same token why I think like when I say the Reclaimer may go up in price when that Expedition is dropped, does it go up by $50? Does it go up by 100? I don't know. But the thing is, like, you're about to get munching on that thing and a potential snub at the same time. You know, and you just had the Hull C go from 350 to what's that, 500. So could the Reclaimer go to 500? Absolutely, but I'm not going to call that. But it could.
Yeah,
it really, really could.
Never say never.
Yeah.
Division saying, I'll earn my ships in game. Great.
Absolutely. That is the best way to be. If you can do that, you do that.
You know, I've made the decision. I don't want to grind.
Yeah.
You know, earning ships with a grind. Yeah. I don't want to I want to skip back grind. That's okay. Yeah.
We'll help you at all levels, no matter how much money you've spent. We're just trying to get you to spend it smarter. We're not telling you to spend more money. We're trying to help you spend it smarter. That's all we're trying to do. If you spend $1,000, if you spent $45, we'll try to get you the biggest bang for buck that we can, because
all right, so
that's our job.
Rum Runner says, what do you think about the gimp suit in the Citizen Con pack?
You mean this one that's in game on the PU right now? Yeah, not to my taste, and I don't think it's to your taste either, is it, Algared? But I bet you've got one though, Algared, don't you?
I bought the pack, so yeah.
But yeah, it's different. It really does feel Drake aesthetic. It's got that black, yellow cutter vibe going, or vulture vibe going. So it's definitely more.
What's the advertisement on the back? What's the label?
I can't bloody remember. It's some suit company. I can tell you that from memory. And the helmet is made by a different manufacturer again as well. So yeah.
Yep.
But it's pirate themed, as it should be. It's pyro.
Hook, 2005 says, do you have to be concierge to be able to buy Kraken or Idris?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I don't believe so.
The only thing you get that's kind of exclusive for purchasing power is once you get to concierge, it opens up certain packs. And generally speaking, there are exceptions to this, Algared. I know I'm being generalistic here. We don't recommend packs because of Warborn CCUs. You would agree with that as a whole, Algared? Like, generally, there are exceptions, I know, but generally speaking, would you agree with that, Algared?
I just had a kind of semi-crash, but everything just shut down for about 5 seconds. So my Discord shut down, so I actually missed what you said.
Oh, okay, my bad. So what I was saying was, generally speaking, we don't recommend people buy packs. Long and the short of it, because of Warborn CCUs, yeah?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. There are exceptions to this, but they're extremely rare, to the point that we've only ever found 2 of them in all the Pixel fleets we did.
I will generally say to people, if you're starting off, don't buy packs.
Yep.
Buy your ships individually and do Warborn CCUs. If you've got lots of credits, that's usually where packs come in and will save you money. But
yeah, and if you're going out, you're not concierge and you go straight in to buy a Kraken, really reconsider that, because again, you just need one ship, whether that is a starter pack or one ship you really enjoy. There are so many ships out there now. You just go out and find someone that's got a lot of them. Join an org. They're going to need crew members. You do not need to. Half the reason we did Fix My Fleet was to fix mistakes, right? We don't want you to go out and buy heaps of shit because we don't need you to, right? Even Chris would tell you that. Chris told me that in 2014, and we're now almost 10 years later.
I was about to say, even Chris and Sandy will say that.
Yeah.
Yes, they're happy for people to spend money and buy ships. Chris has told X, don't buy any more. Just all you need is a starter pack, and he's even said that all you need is a starter pack for the game.
He said don't buy more ships. Encourage people to buy the game.
Starter pack.
The game. More people to play the game. And that's kind of why we do things like the giveaways at Invictus and IAE.
Yeah. Sandy said to me, "Don't buy any more. Stop."
Yep.
Stop. Wasn't don't buy any more. She said stop.
Yeah.
You know, that is not someone who's saying spend more money, buy my game. You know, and it wasn't just lip service. It was fair dinkum. You know, it was, oh my God, stop. You know, almost we're getting an intervention. That type of view.
So Officer Randog says, we're down to the last 3 questions, so we're almost done, Algared.
Yep.
Do you think when Pyro jump point is working, they will have another findable jump point in Stanton? I would say no, because I would assume Nyx is the next one, wouldn't you?
I think we've always thought Nyx was the one that had come. So the line of 5 would be the 5 that had come, and I think Nyx jumps off. It's not in the line of 5, but it makes sense because it's basically done.
Well, this is interesting. A very similar kind of response. It says, DKza asks, considering the jump points Stanton, Nyx, Odin, do you think it's possible to have 3 systems by end of next year, or are there a lot of work to do in Odin even after Squadron 42 releases? Odin is basically the one we've got to set 10 years after the final episode of Squadron 42. So yes, there may be some changes in it that are a little different. But realistically speaking, I think it would be safe to say that they've can modify it fairly quickly to work in Star Citizen. As for putting Odin in by the end of next year, that'll really depend on how quickly they want to release it after Squadron 42 is out. Next, absolutely, I think you could say that by the end of next year.
Go. I believe Odin is is Odin the one where we're doing Squadron?
Or That's
is it
correct.
The next one along?
That's the correct.
So, and I do know that in the story, apparently we do have to go from Odin into Stanton to do a message, is one of the things I've heard.
Yeah. So you might find we are going through Pyro and Nix and that anyway, so yeah. And I'd expect, Terra and Magnus. Magnus probably the first one we'll see after the line of 5, because it's already in Stanton. And I think Terra's just too big to handle right now, and we've gone through that for multiple reasons, haven't we, Algared? But yeah, I think Magnus will be the first outside the line of 5. And I think we'll probably see Magnus before we see Terra, just because of the complexity of Terra. Yeah. Terra is essentially, well, you're the lore person, Algared. Why would we see Terra? We'll probably see Sol before we see Terra. Will you tell me different?
I don't think we'd see Sol before we'd see Terra, because Sol is 9 planets, or 8 planets plus Pluto, and then the settlements that are on those planets. Earth will certainly be easier because it's going to be flooded and it's going to have been raided by the Vandals, so it's going to be wrecked so they can get around. Oh, you haven't got the Opera House or the Sydney Harbour Bridge or the Empire State Building, so they can get around that problem.
And the reasons for that is because when people go to places on the planet of Earth, it's way too hard to bespokely go through and make it look, oh, look, there's my house. Yep. You can't do that. So they've got to give a reason for it to be fucked up.
Yeah. So I can see that. Terra is just a big planet. I can't remember how many planets are in there. I think it's 3.
Yeah.
There's certainly large settlements. And I think that's the problem with it. It's just a big place. But hey, it could. Earth is in the Sol system, Rob, and Terra is the system that also shares the name with the planet Terra. And Terra has a jump point that links up to Stanton, and Earth is several jump points away, which is why I don't think we'll see Sol anytime soon. Terra could be an option because it could fit in the line of fire, but I think when you look at the other systems around it, Terra is smaller and therefore, or Terra is bigger compared to the others. Yeah, I think Space Tomato, you're right. Terra will likely be a starting system for the game. It'll be one of the locations people can choose.
Absolutely agree with that. It'd be the safest of safe space. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll see Stanton straight away. I think it'll be one of the last ones of the line of 5, because when you'll start looking at all the planets, it's the one that's got. It's kind of like a Stanton type thing. You've got big planet, lots of environments, lots of other stuff, lots of. But never say never. Anyway, that's as much as I can give you on that.
You want to do the last question for me, please, Algared, when you can?
So, Rumrunner has a question. They say, if large jump points are rare, what's the point of the Liberator? It's not the lump jump points are rare, it's all that ships can't go through jump points. It's the ships don't have a jump drive.
Actually,
if it doesn't have a jump drive, you need a ferry.
Yeah, I need to check that because I can't remember the size of the Liberator. It's either a large or yeah, I need it. Well, it doesn't have a capital. Man, I don't know. I need to go check the Liberator.
I see what he's asking.
Yeah, he's asking about the going around part.
It's a size issue.
Yeah, it's a size issue. Yeah, could we get a smaller? Well, again, the whole C, being able to fold out, and the whole B. Can you technically put a ship on a whole B? So yeah, we need to find out what the size the ships are and stuff like that. So we'll see.
See if I can dig it up on the Matrix of Lies. That might give us an idea of size.
Yeah.
But that's about the only thing I can think of doing offhand. Or you could pull up the ship viewer.
So I'm looking at who we can raid here, Algared. So this is on Twitch, so we can go with Loken, which is a fellow Inforunner. We can go with Ark, who's got, or I was thinking, considering I don't ever see him ever streaming, Montoya is streaming.
We could always join with Montoya.
Yeah, he's usually on YouTube.
The Liberator is only 119 meters.
That would fit inside a large. That makes it a lot. So the Carrack's 128, and that's the largest ship that will go on a large pad. So yeah, makes it a large. So that falls into the same problem. It technically wouldn't go through the Pyro jump point, so you would have to go around. But you see the problem here, because if the small ship can't go through and then has to be taken all the way around, wow, that all of a sudden makes small ships a real handful. We'll have to see how that pans out.
Small ships that don't, there are going to be small ships or smaller ships that have a quantum drive. So I'm pretty certain that the Aurora has a quantum drive, a jump drive, because it's got the bed. So that always used to be kind of a differentiation, how you could tell which ships were which. The ones that were made for long distance had beds, and the ones that didn't have that ability didn't have beds. And so, yeah, you take that, but. My gut would say that CIG never really have worked out exactly where they want their jump points to go and what the sizes mean. And when they work that out, they'll let us know.
All right, with that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And thank you to all those people that went that extra mile on the credits at the end of this video. Yep. As for Twitch, we're going to get you to read off to Montoya. He's from, I believe he's from South Africa. But yeah, ask him
ask him how many Auroras he's got.
Yes. Also ask him who's the better South African, him or Voidy, from me. And I'll stop by. Tell him I'll stop by in about 10-15 minutes and say hello. It just takes me time to wrap things up. So yeah. All right. With that then, Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. Bye, Twitch. And Twitch is gone. They're off. Hopefully he has fun over there. All right, as for you YouTube people, there will be no show this weekend for obvious reasons. I will be streaming for 12 hours each day, so that's 24 hours coverage over 2 days. I'm not going to easily, they're going to be so...
Yeah.
Right.
Knowing what you're like when you don't sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to say I'm not going to be there on Monday.
Yeah. You bastard. Right. With that, then, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks, Space, for stopping by. It was really great to have you again. We need to catch up more often. With that, then, actually, I should really do my due diligence and quickly see if Paul is Paul streaming on YouTube. Let me have a quick look.
And while you're doing that, check, I'll say, don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell. It really does help us. If you want to go that extra mile, go the extra mile with either, you can do super chats, you can do membership on YouTube, you can go Patreon. It's never expected, always appreciated. And thank you.
All right. With that, then, he's been Algared.
Been Execute, and we're out of here.
See you in the next one. Bye. Enjoy Citizencon.